I love that video. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 170, what I think is episode 176 of the amazing, incredible Storm King's Thunder, which is brought to you, as always, by all of us here at GOG, our tabletop session that we usually do, although not this month for reasons I'll talk about in a minute, once a month, and which features the amazing, super spectacular crew, all of us as a part of this Pen and Pixels, which is with you. I am looking forward to this very much, and I can't wait to introduce the full crew. We have a full crew with you, but I'm going to do that in just a second. Before I do so, I do remind everyone about the ways to support us here at GOG. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to follow the channel. That is always appreciated. Please make sure to check out the channel by subscribing to it as well. I see a number of you have those GOG.com badges in chat, but if you can subscribe to GOG.com, you'll get the DRM free badges. That money sort of helps us out as individual streamers and all that, so please consider supporting us here as well. We want snacks. Well, I will endeavor to do what I can to satisfy you, Utrapilco. I'll try to do that in just a second. And last but certainly not least, of course, please check out all of us on our individual channels, because all of us have different subsystems and different Patreon things and all that kind of stuff that we do individually. So please make sure to click through and check out some of the lovely people that you're about to meet in just a minute. But before we get there, I am happy to say hello to everybody. Good to see you all. I hope everyone is doing well. And I do want to say something here, first of all, about my webcam's not right. There we go. I do want to say something very quickly about what we've got going on here, because it's important. Because we have got D&D with GOG. This show, Pen and Pixels, that I've been doing for a long time now, is usually Tuesday from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern, and it is focusing on story and narrative in games. But in this particular case, it's going to be going from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, mostly so that I can give some of my Europeans a break and let them get to bed at some not ungodly hour. Why am I doing this, you say, other than my beneficence? I am doing so because these same folks that you're about to see are also going to be appearing, with one exception, are also going to be appearing on Friday at 4 p.m. When they will be doing the D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder on my channel to benefit ARVCon. Now, in case you don't know what this is, ARVCon is the charity convention that we do on my channel every year right around late May, and it's done to benefit the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation, which is a group that supports young researchers into this work. They've been around for a long time. There have been many Nobel Prize winners that have come out of this, and these researchers have made substantial impacts in terms of how we do genetic research, on how we're able to actually treat tumors, deal with chemotherapies in more comfortable ways and safer ways, come up with vaccines for cancers, anything you could imagine, from childhood to geriatrics, geriatric cancers. The Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation has contributed to researchers who have been focusing on this. They are a really excellent charity. This is of personal importance to me because my mother passed away from breast cancer back in 2009. I was there when she went. It was not fun. And I have lost dogs to cancer. Friends have been affected by it, many people that I knew outside of it, and I know that I'm not alone in that regard. And so I started ARVCon a few years ago to be able to benefit, just to as a way of doing something other than just sitting and feeling sad about it. And so the ARVCon was created for that. So it's going to be starting on Friday on my channel. It will feature lots and lots of tabletop, from D&D with GOG to Esper Genesis, my space opera game, to Adventures in Middle-earth in the world of Professor Tolkien and Lord of the Rings, to a musical concert, which will feature not one but two GOG-connected people. First, Kilgore Trout, and secondly, Chrono Wolf, who, of course, was a streamer before for us, and Kilgore, of course, still is a streamer for us here on GOG. And then a concert, and so they will be part of this concert, as will Jordan Indiana Gonzalez, who's a streamer on Twitch, although not a member of GOG. And then in the evening, I will have a special tabletop event, about which I'm not going to say more now, but just in the future. And then on Sunday, we will have the conclusion of ARVCon with a marathon session of D&D with Curse of Strahd, with my Infinity and Beyond crew that's been going on for a very long time. So we got lots of tabletop going on, and we also have lots of giveaways. We will have raffles. We have a lot of corporate sponsors, and this is the reason I'm spending the time on this channel, because in addition to a lot of the sponsors we have, people like 3 Pound Games, Nomad Games, people like Harebrained Schemes, and companies like that, and many others. In addition to that, GOG.com, this very place where you all are at, is also kind enough to sponsor me. And so they're going to be giving me a set of codes, which will be given away as part of the raffles we do as we hit these various numbers. Our goal is to hit $3,500 this year. Last year, we crossed 3,100. This year, we want to hit 3,500. That's a big number, but I think it's doable because of the generosity of the community and the people that we have near us. So I hope that you will consider checking out ArvCon. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope you will consider, please, 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 spreading the word and let people know about it. And so because we are playing D&D with GOG twice in 1 week, it meant that I wanted to be able to start this earlier. And so that is why we are starting at 3 p.m. And that is why I am most proud to be able to bring in the spectacular GOG crew, which has taught us a great deal about language and about boxes of matches, more than I ever really wanted to know.
We were just discussing how much we're looking forward to taking this over to the Epic Store next month.
Good. I'm glad it'll be an exclusive watch. That'll be really great. Down, go
out. Get fired.
It is my great pleasure to welcome the full crew of D&D with GOG with Mortara and the sub. 22 months as we get started. I have returned to the realm. Welcome back, Mortara. Welcome back to the realm. It's good to see everybody here, and let me allow these wonderful people to introduce themselves to you, beginning with the cat herder of our group, who has learned a great deal about what the term hot means, and that, of course, is Pyron Jade, who's right below us. Hello, Pyron. How are you? How's life, the universe, and everything, and who are you playing, etc.?
I would say life is good. Like I've always said, we were playing D&D, and it was we just got in and we had a lot of fun even before the session even started. So I'm just really, really happy.
Yep.
And also there's going to be a lot of multiplayer streams this week that I'm going to take part of, which is Barony tomorrow, on Friday with you on your channel, Arvin, and then on Sunday with Stellaris. So yay! Lots of happiness with lots of wonderful people.
Awesome.
And tonight I'm playing Greeter Goldenfire, Dwarven Pharaohs of Cloltus, yes, Foltus.
Cloltus. May his death shine on your way.
May his light shine on your way. And I occasionally set things on fire. That is true, but I also can create water. So it's like I'm a very balanced person that way.
Yeah, I like the idea that that's become part of your shtick now. You're like, I've learned that I cannot just let fires continue to burn. I must also put them out on occasion when the need arises. We will see whether or not Greta's fire creation or water development is going to be necessary for today's big fight, as we'll talk about in just a minute. But it's a pleasure to have Pyron with us, as always. Moving right on down the line is, of course, the wonderful Darksaber 2K, who explained to us a great deal about how the Welsh do speak a language which is understandable, and he explained very carefully and gently to me how pronunciations work. And so I understand a little more than I did before about the Welsh language. It is a great pleasure to have Darksaber with us. How are you, sir? How is life, and who are you playing today?
I am very, very happy and reporting from the land of Iddraig Goch. That's the Red Dragon in Welsh. And
perfect.
Yeah,
and I assume that's spelled TX, right? Is that spelled?
Don't go into the spelling.
Every letter is silent. Yeah, okay.
And I'll be stepping back into the shoes of Selsig Mauer, halfling coward today in the face of what's just appeared.
Good.
That's professional coward. Professional coward.
Professional
cross
coward, yes.
Cross skilling.
Yes, multiple multi-class. I look forward to seeing that.
There will be much running away.
Yeah, he did. He told us that he's like, I've had a plan for a long time now, and we're like, I wonder what this long-term plan involves. Yeah, exactly. Look at a snake, which is literally true, and then you run away. But always a pleasure to have Darksaber with us. Thank you for making the trek back and getting back here, and it is our pleasure to also bring back with us the inimitable Screaming Joypad, also known as Mike, who is, according to Pyron, not hot. I don't know what he thinks about that.
What?
I just want to be clear about all that. Mike, how are you doing?
How's so confused right now.
I know.
I'm so confused.
Join the club. How you doing, man?
All
who are you playing?
It really crosses boundaries, because all day, like, I've been talking about the game super hot at work because one of my friends has just got it in VR. So every now and then someone will go super, and I'll wait a few seconds and then go hot, because it reminds me of that whole chat running super hot thing I had when I streamed at that time, which is absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I am hot off the heels of another American adventure, if you follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn or anything like that. So still got a little bit of jet lag. So you'll need to bear with me. I might be in a bit of a goofy mood, but we'll roll with that and see what happens. who am I even playing? I'm playing a half-orc. I'm playing Urash, the half-orc barbarian and devout follower of Tempest, who I'm pretty sure is going to get the absolute poop beaten out of him in this fight. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's it. Did I mention I'm cursed?
It'll be fine. I mentioned I'm cursed. This is one of the reasons we wanted to make sure that we got this set up precisely because I'm telling you, you really need a full crew for that. You do not want to sitting this one out. Okay? But it'll be fun to see how everybody does. I am looking forward to it. And last but certainly not least, of course, we have the also inimitable. And are you in a different room or place or setting?
It's the same room, but we are moving. So everything is kind of right now.
Where are you? Are you moving like way huge move?
It's not a huge move. No, it's about an hour south of where we are right now. It's the same state.
Okay.
But we're moving on the 1st, so I'm getting everything I can get done.
I see. Okay. Oh wow, that's cool. Well, I hope it is an enjoyable move, sort of safe, good, comfortable, all right move, I hope.
As long as it goes smooth, that's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find the next time she streams, she's just her camera's like this, and just just like a burned out wasteland behind her, and she's like, it didn't work out. Well, I hope good luck on the move, Chai, and a pleasure to have you with us. And who are you playing today?
Today I am playing River, a Silver Dragonborn, who is also a member of the Harpers, and very proud of that, even though Greta might have feelings about it. And I might be embracing my inner Celsig for this fight and do a runaway. Well, we'll see.
It is conceivable. I thought about the fact that because we played earlier in last month, and so kind of leading up to this, you've had a long time to dwell on what this fight means as you're sort of I wonder what it all means. But no, it is a pleasure to have Chai with us. As I've said all along, I really have a fun time with this crew, and I am really looking forward to seeing what the session today brings us. Chat, I want you all to know.
Oh, so away.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're like, oh, so we're, whenever the DM sounds gleeful, the players are like, yeah, that's bad. We don't. But chat, I want you all to know that for those of you who support me over on my channel, thank you. And I want you to know that if you've got inspirations, I know that many of you have been wanting to save them for ArvCon, and that is a wise decision. But you may want to have some of them geared up and ready. I'm just saying. And while we're at it, you can always just, support me over on my channel, and do that soon or now, and that way you'll have them so that you can help these people. I'm just letting people know because they, there's going to be things that will happen and stuff. But it is a great pleasure to have everybody here, and let's do this. So when we last left, I believe that's how that goes. Our heroes, they were in the Temple of the Eye of the All-Father. The overall concept of this story is that they have been trying to figure out why the giants have apparently taken leave of their senses and have begun to attack the civilized places of the Sword Coast, doing a lot of damage because, giants. And there are far too many twists and turns and so on to summarize. I would encourage you all to go to my YouTube channel and look for the D&D with GOG on my Pen and Pixels stuff. You'll find a lot of things there. There's many hours of entertainment awaiting you. But what I can say is that at least in the last few sessions, they have been brought by a former member of the adventuring party Force Grey, Harshnag, who it turns out is an enormous giant, who has come with them here to the Temple of the Allfather, because here is where the oracle lies, the oracle that the giants in ancient times consulted for help and information and inspiration, and hopefully would be able to give them a clue as to some of the things that have been happening with the giants. Now, they know some of these details already. King Hecaton, for one thing, has gone missing, and with King Hecaton, who was the head of the Ordning and the most powerful giant, gone, it means that there has been some squabbling and infighting among the family members. And they also know that the reason for this is unclear, but the family itself has great differences of opinion about the way that the giants actually ought to act towards what they call the little people. That's the good news. The bad news is that they still don't know where Hecaton is, or indeed how to get to any of these people. It's not as simple as just, take a bus to your local giant ruling throne place. And so as a consequence, the party has been trying to gather information about what do they do to stop all of this. And that is why they are now here trying to find out this information. When they arrived at the Temple of the Eye of the All-Father, which to be clear was built for giants and not built for the so-called little people, they searched through. They had to fight a group of barbarians, which they managed to defeat. They had to get over a couple of crazy traps. One in particular involved going up into this area that I'm showing you all on chat, where where Celsig, who is Darksaber, I don't know who that is, where Celsig Mar decided that he was going to investigate, went up a little too far, and ended up being pursued by a boulder. He did manage to somehow avoid death from the boulder. The boulder was then caught by a statue, which then promptly pushed the boulder back up towards him, which was a little frustrating. But after a lot of back and forth, he did manage to escape that trap. They also managed to find what looks like a portal of some kind, presumably teleporting them somewhere, which has a series of runes over the top. And they found a set of giants, which they were able to describe in the way that you see here on stream: stone, frost, storm, hill, fire, and cloud. But one of the statues was missing its enormous weapon that it needs, and the thought of the party was that maybe if they could find that weapon, they could get the portal to activate. So, after breaking through some ice that was covering over the doors in the southern portion of this room, they entered this very large hall and indeed found this enormous axe, which was lying on this side, just as they were hoping they would find. And as they went over that way, as my monster manual falls apart, as they went over that way, they suddenly were aware of this enormous creature that began to spiral outwards, uncoiling itself with its multiple legs. This enormous centipede-looking thing with purplish and reddish on its body, looking huge, and I do mean an enormous monstrosity. And as Harshnag looked at it, sort of grabbed his axe, basically for the first time was like, we need to get ready, as in this is going to be a big fight. They are facing what, according to Harshnag, is a Remoraz. And a Remoraz is very dangerous. You are forbidden, my party, from Googling what a Remoraz is. You're just going to have to keep that in mind, that what it is this large worm-like creature that is now uncoiling and spiraling. And since it seems appropriate, I'm going to get a little bit of music going here with the power of... give me the combat music. Give it to me. Not that one. Wait. What is this? I want you to delete. No, this other one.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
It's worth it. It is. It's completely,
hang on,
completely worth it. Delete item. Okay, all right, I did. Yeah, I was gonna say no. Okay. I had this set up and then it failed. Okay.
Oh, DM not prepared.
I know. I am.
Can't get this stuff going now. Jeez.
We need to figure out the most important things first. Are the doors still open behind us?
There we go.
I assume so, yeah.
Yes. Although that is funny, and I wish I had taken the moment to be like, they close ominously behind you, but no. That would have been really, really great. But no. Yeah, they are open. And I'm going to just add it to the game. Good, wonderful. All right, here we go. Now we've actually got some music. No, that's not that one. See, this is just making him feel better, because this way I can be like, oh, this is fine. You guys have nothing to worry about.
We're just stretching for time right now.
Yeah, basically that's all I'm doing.
Nothing to worry about.
This is
fine.
I want combat music for this. I refuse to not have combat music for this.
Like Benny Hill, or
I just found this. Yeah, exactly.
It's normally how our combat
This
goes,
is what I
to be
want.
honest with you.
we had it during Unreal Tournament, so it's traditional.
Yeah, that's true.
Where is that?
I remember that.
And
Good times.
okay, now I think chat should be able to hear. There we go. There we go. All right. So now that I've got that squared away, I'm glad that we took the time to do that. Let me do this. Okay, now what I'm going to ask for, finally, I apologize for that delay. Now I'm going to ask for that thing we like to call initiative, please.
Let the botching begin.
Ah.
Dun 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 dun.
This is Selsigmar starting his band. Yeah, possibly. Okay. Alrighty.
And I got a bad roll, or Greta got a good roll.
I got a good roll.
I got a really good roll.
There we go.
This is what I like to see. See, you guys will
But
be
are
fine.
you faster than a Ramirez? Or
Yeah, I was gonna say you
The-
guys are all fine.
The whatever.
Remoraid is like a Pokemon.
Ramirez.
Remoraz.
I've just got Ramirez from Highlander in my head now, and he's going to be
You
stuck
cannot die,
like
McLeod.
that. I use the moment.
I'll take the 19 on that one.
Ooh, nice. All right. Let me get that. Okay. Let's see, and let's pull open the giant sphere, and then I will mark that all down.
If we die, I just wanted to say I really, really love this party.
I know. I was just thinking
I
that.
am mostly fond of most of you.
I just want to tell you all good
looking
luck.
forward to coming back as a bard.
Yeah.
There's your motivation to
look-
not die. I am totally
I
rolling
look
a
forward to my
bard.
next life.
Looking
Oh
forward
yeah,
to
just
it.
for people wondering in chat why I rolled the dice twice for initiative, I actually gain advantage on initiative rolls
He's also a dirty cheat, but
because I'm a barbarian. That's apparently the only reason I need.
Well, if Celsig is going to be a bard next, then I'm going to be a ranger because we can't be above the ranger, right?
It's true.
That's actually true. This is the how many single-digit D20 rolls can you make episode. Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Okay, so let's see. So Greta.
that was me
has-
trap fighting last session.
That's
Greta has
true.
got a 16.
Yeah,
Practically
you're welcome.
quit the party over that.
You're welcome.
Wait,
Yeah, I'm
the thing-
quite fond of my trap finding as well.
The thing in the eastern half circle there is just the Remoraid, the same Remoraid, or is it a statue?
It's the same one. That's just for some reason it's not. I can try to block it off. This thing over
It's
here.
like a yeah.
It's the one
This
that's
this is a
moving around.
placeholder, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Okay.
because
Oh,
if there were
that's
two,
just-
It's
I
the
would.
second one. Yeah, that's
No,
the main.
Let's just so you know. Let's just so you know that whenever you play this room, there is always one of those in there. Like you never avoid this.
Yes,
fight.
exactly.
If there were two, I would be happier because it would mean it's not so bad.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think it would. I think it would be like, and now everyone rolls a new
Well.
character.
Yeah.
So River, you actually had this exact same initiative last time.
Did I?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
good
had.
for me.
I looked up. I'm like, oh, how about that?
Nice.
Celsig, what is your dexterity? Just your raw score?
That's a good question. And on 17, sorry, roll
17.
score.
And Greta, yours is less than that, I assume.
Yes.
Okay, I was making sure. Maybe you're a very dexterous cleric. I don't know. You know, I think how-
Or-
Yeah, we just haven't figured it
Clank,
out in the
clank,
last few
clank,
years.
Yeah. She just takes up all the full play. She's just like really nimble.
Exactly. What is your initiative score, though? Just so I know, raw score, Greta.
My raw initiative score is -1.
No, dexterity. Your raw
Dexterity
dexterity.
score is 8.
Okay. All
So
right.
yes, 17 is more than that.
Lovely. Okay, we get started
Stats.
then with the river. Chat, make sure that you're focusing, because buckle up.
Okay.
So you
Yes.
were looking at River, at this enormous creature. You can see, by the way, you can actually, even from where you are, feel a kind of heat radiating off it. You have clearly never seen anything like this. This is extremely rare, this creature. And so I don't actually think you would even have encountered details about it before, but you might have heard of it maybe, but certainly not in any kind of way where you would know about fighting something like this. So yeah, it's scary, troubling.
It is. Well, since is it clear that I'm in danger? Because this is River we're talking about.
Is it clear that you're in danger? Well, it's on one side of this table, as you can see there, and you are on the other, and
Yeah.
I'd say there's some danger involved. Yeah.
There might be some danger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harshnake made it clear last time that even he is afraid of this thing.
Yeah. Harshnag was like no joking around with the axe. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot. There's like. Okay. Well, what River would do, I can't play like what a reasonable person would do. I have to play River. I turn around and ask Harshnag, "Is that thing nice?"
That is not nice.
Shoot.
It literally doesn't look at you as he says that. He's just like, his hands are gripping the axe.
Yeah. But we need that axe, right?
He said, yes, we do need the axe. Also, you will need to survive.
Well, what if... What?
Meanwhile, the thing is like...
Yeah, right? Like, I'm trying to think, like, what would she do?
It's Chrono Trigger. I could just imagine, like, it's just like got this spell menu open, just going whip, whip.
You know?
Right, it just freezes in place if she's looking, like, you know.
Pause,
I
pause
actually
on you.
just realized I have a thing. I have Dust of Disappearance.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like, see you, suckers.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna ask. I'm asking our lovely DM. How much dust is there? Is it like for one person, or if I throw it at the party, can we all be slightly invisible?
That is. Oh, thank you for all the.
Slightly.
Thank you for the resub, Echo. 25 months in a row. Thank you. Echo,
Wow,
for the,
that's
resub.
impressive.
Thank you.
Nice, Echo.
I don't remember if it mentioned how many doses of it there were.
No, I don't have it written down.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Just don't crit fail it and hit the memorize.
Whoops.
Just don't. That's the worst thing that can happen.
At least you can't see
now
it.
it's invisible.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Can't see it. I suddenly feel better.
Yeah. So this is a small packet actually, and there's enough of it in one use. So basically it is enough for you and each creature and object within 10 feet of you. Now, the effect of Dust of Disappearance is it will turn you invisible, and you'll be invisible for a certain period of time. Part of the problem is you don't know exactly how long, but usually it's at least 2 minutes, sometimes up to 8 minutes. But the problem is that well, it's not even a problem. Just letting you know that when you attack, just as is the case with the spell invisibility, then the invisibility ends for that creature. So if you were to throw the dust up, all of you, I think, could get there except for Celsig would not be affected by this, but everybody else would be turned invisible until such time as they attack. And if you attack from invisibility, you get advantage on that attack. And if you're Celsig, you get 7 quadrillion damage from all the sneak attacks and whatever. But so, yeah.
7 quadrillion, you say?
Yeah.
Or
just throws the whole
a
packet.
couple extra. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple
Legally
extra.
binding. It's on the internet.
Okay, well, so I have like a bunch of theories, but I think probably the best thing to do, because there's no time for River to confer with people, is I magic missile his face.
You'll magic missile his face.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's what I do.
I'm going to reload this very quickly just because I have one sort of weird page is behaving weirdly. So bear with me just a second while I reload this page. I think that should be better now.
It's a solid opener. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Okay, let's get this going now. That should not be happening, I think. There we go. Good. All right. It's working again. Lovely. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So, you were all right. So I'm going to move that down to where you are. Okay. So I'm sorry, River. So say again what you're going to do.
Magic missile his face.
Okay. Magic missile his face. Sounds good. Let us make that happen.
I don't know how to make that happen.
Oh.
Is it 1d4, or do I have to? What do I do to make sure it hits?
Magic missile is should be a ranged spell attack. Although I'm going to double check very quickly because again, different rules. So I just want to make sure. Magic missile is no, that actually is automatic. So
okay.
So there's 3 darts. Each one of them will do 1d4 plus 1 force damage to your target, and you can split them, or you can, in this case, stack them all on the same dude.
Yeah, I like stacking.
Okay.
So 1d4, 1d4, 1d4. So looks like 9.
So it looks like you've got more than that. That's should be. I'm looking at 13, aren't I? 4, 5, and 4.
4, 8, 5 is 5. Yeah, you're right. I can math.
13. I don't think I just don't want to take any damage away from you. I think it's probably a good idea not to. Okay, so your missiles hit it, and the creature and like starts looking at you. You seem to have attracted its ire.
Uh-oh.
Are you going to move?
Can I move with that?
Sure, because you were on the other side of the bench at the moment. So you could run for your life, or you could just back up. And remember that these are also these are 10-foot squares. So
yeah, I just backed up a little. I think that's probably the furthest I can go.
All right. That is going to lead us to Urash. There's a big boy here.
Hello. There is a big boy. There is a big boy spoiling for a fight. So I'm going to do whatever a devout follower of Tempest would do when there's a big boy spoiling for a fight. I am going to attack it. However, I don't have my map up at the moment. So I'm trying to figure out where I just attack around me. Sorry, Greta. Sorry, everyone.
He's cursed. Forgive him.
Yeah.
It's the true curse, yeah.
Now, okay, there's nothing like a bit of a flourish to start a battle. So what I'm going to try to do, can I move and attack?
Of course.
Yeah. How is it? Regular move? It's been so long since I played Dungeons and Dragons. I've forgotten all of the mechanics.
Yes, you can definitely move towards him.
So I move 40 feet, and these are 10 feet squares. So that would be, is diagonal 10 or is that 20?
It doesn't matter. That would be 10. Yeah, so you'd be going
10
from there.
20, 30, and then I can hit him from there, right?
Yeah.
Chop its legs off. They're only a few hundred.
Now,
let me confirm before you do this, though. Hold on one second. I want to confirm that these squares are not. Yeah, okay, I was wrong. These squares are 20 feet. I remember this being an issue the last time because this is a huge hall. So.
Okay, that's going to cause issues.
Yes, it is.
You can still charge, remember. And if you're charged, you're basically combining a move and an attack into one thing.
Okay, so I'm gonna lay out like I'm as a barbarian. I care little for mechanics, so I'm just gonna tell you what's gonna happen, and you tell me if it can.
Okay.
All right. So
he runs towards it, going, "This is my fantasy.
This is my moment." So basically, I'm gonna rage, and I'm gonna sprint around this. So I'll draw it for you and everything. This is how the stream's gonna go, people.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, cool.
We'll do it like a play-by-play. So I'm just going to move my dude. So I was here. So as you can see, he was here.
Yes.
I'm gonna sprint around here, raging at this point. So here's the rage point. All right.
Yes.
Right there. That's your big rage point, right? And then
it's like CSI.
Yeah.
It's like sports. That's
I know. Thank you. That's what I was going for. I spent a week in America. Sports was on the television, so and then there was sports ball on TV. I'm then going to jump on the table or the bench, whichever I can reach.
Okay.
And then do a leap attack onto him.
Oh. Okay, so you're going to do all this, and then basically Brad Pitt and Troy is what we're talking about, like off the bench.
Yeah,
okay.
That's exactly it.
All right, so I will allow.
I've been watching way too many Marvel movies at the minute, so everything's like super hyper action.
I think this is a good idea, and I'm glad to be a part of it. But before we do this, I want to ask you, as you jump on this bench, I am going to ask you to make a dexterity check to make sure that you can jump on the bench and keep your movement. Jumping off the bench is not a big deal.
I think I get some sort of advantage on stuff like this, or is it just strength checks? I don't know if it's.
I don't know that the barbarian has been Cirque du Soleiling his life.
Well, no, this is true. Would you accept athletics or acrobatics?
I would accept acrobatics.
I'm better at those.
I'm happy to accept acrobatics. Yes.
Okay, I'll do that. Which is going to fail. That's gonna fail hard.
Well, now again, I do need to remind everybody that inspirations will be a thing. I'm just letting everybody know in the future. And this is the last time I'm going to allow it after the fact. Yeah. Inspirations will be called for before.
Okay. There's nothing. I don't get any kind of push-pull advantage on push-pull. I'm resistant to damage. I'm resistant to a lot of things, but nothing in regards to. You can suddenly just Prince of Persia spin back time and go, oh, that didn't really happen. Sorry about that.
Not so much. So when you try to make the jump onto the bench, your mighty leap as you're angry, and you're so enraged that your vision is sort of tinted red a little bit. You don't quite see the edge of the bench exactly the way you intended. So your foot kind of is like, and you kind of slip off. And basically spin down and end up on your knees in front of the creature. So
great.
He turns around and is like,
precisely what I didn't want.
There's a moment of silence, and then it looks down and is like, like the alien moment, right, where alien is
Just
like
like,
moving forward and like,
hey, what's up? How you doing?
Ridley. Yeah, so that's what.
That's a lot of legs.
Yep. So
I can see
that's what
all
it
of
does.
your knees.
Now the good news is, you are,
All of
although
them.
you are technically prone, you can still attack from this position if you wish.
Oh, thank God.
Yes, but you are prone.
Like just regular attack.
Yes, you would do it
Yeah.
as much as a like swinging on the ground as you're on the ground. Yes, a regular attack.
Okay, cool.
A
13.
13 is not going to hit.
Damn
Or to be more accurate about it, you don't get all of your strength behind it, and you hit its scale, and there's this thunk, like this, like as you hit it, and it just kind of bounces backwards.
Okay.
And the thing's like,
okay, doke. Can I have my extra attack, even though I'm prone, or is it just one attack?
yeah, if you're prone, no, that's fine. It's just an issue of what's going to happen next.
No, yeah, well, that's what I.
Oh, that's a hit.
Oh my God! Right. 11.
11. Okay. You can start your prayers right about now. Okay, says Kivik. All right. Okay, so you do this time manage to strike it, and one of its scales is dented. Now it's exceedingly angry. And you notice that as it sort of pulls itself back, it rears back sort of on its tail, a bunch of its multi-segmented legs clicking angrily above you as it sways back and forth. This thing is fully, I would say a good 15, 20 feet, sort of towering over Urash, who, in fairness, is currently prone, but still, and
yeah,
it's
I'm
kind of
boned.
spinning all over him. Okay, that is going to make it angry. What could go wrong? Okay, that's going to lead us to Selsig, and Greta is on deck. Selsig, what would you like to do? You have not been seen by the worm yet, apparently. This thing is going after these.
And I take this opportunity to yell, lead it to the crushy front gate!
What?
Oh, that's
big
clever.
Crushy front gate! And as I'm
Yeah,
doing
crushy
that,
front gate.
He's a genius.
It is a genius.
I've been
As long
waiting
as
all
we're on
month
the
to
right
say
side.
that. And I've been really good, and I didn't clue anyone into it beforehand.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
So you do that, and then you turn and begin your long
I'm
run.
already going, so I'm moving over here.
Hundreds
I'm using my bonus
and
dash.
hundreds of feet.
Yeah. So let's see, I was there, I've gone 20 feet, 25. I can move 60 with a dash and a bonus dash from my cunning action.
Okay.
So I'm going to end up about here. I'm not going to shoot it just yet. Actually, no, stop it. We need to get his attention.
Okay.
I'm
I
also very
think we
small.
have his attention.
Yeah, but it's currently facing the wrong direction from where I'd like.
Yeah, it might just stay and eat Urash while we all leave.
That's true.
I clearly gave the signal.
You did.
Meanwhile, it's just there, like picking its teeth with the rash attacks.
I like the image of you actually yelling, now! And everyone's like, now? What do you mean? Now what? Like, no, he's now!
So I'm going to, since it's not paying attention to me, I am going to sneak attack it with my short bow.
Okay.
Which probably did bugger all.
That is not a hit, unfortunately. And Mr. Void Dragon, we'll see if it ends well. I don't know. I am as interested as you to find out. Okay, so that is unfortunately a miss.
Yeah.
And it literally just sort of kind of tings off of the top of its scales like a glancing blow, and it doesn't even pay any attention. It's still like threatening Urash, as Urash kind of is looking up at it and, angrily, and it's just as angry back, and etc.
At least it's not looking at me.
It's not looking at you, that is sure.
It's true. We're exchanging angry gazes.
And that leads us to Greta. Greta, what would you like to do?
So if I get on the other side of the table, like where River is, then I would be about 60 feet away from the monster, right?
That is correct, roughly. Yeah, I mean it's kind of its body is a little bit up on the bench, but more or less between 50 and 60 feet. Yeah.
And last time you told us that the thing has like little volcanoes on its back, but it's blue on the underside.
That's more or less accurate. Yes, it's not so much volcanoes, spikes, is like red spikes on its back. Is what.
Okay,
it looks
then.
like.
Okay, so I would like to move over there, like so I get on the other side of the table, and then I would like. It's like you said, like rearing up over Urash, so I can
Yes.
see its underside.
Yep.
And then I would like to put a fireball on its underside.
Okay, now
It has a range of 150 feet, so I should be.
Oh, you have no problem with that. The only thing I want to let you know is that a fireball, if it hits the thing, is going to blow up outwards, and it will affect thus your friend who is currently on the ground in front of it.
Oh, I made my bed.
Isn't he fireproof?
I mean, I don't know.
I am
No, I'm
resistant.
fireproof.
No, but I am resistant to all damage, so I will take half of whatever you do. But if it's 500,000, that's still a lot.
That's still a lot, yeah.
You only
It's
died
not-
10 times over.
I have to admit, I do hope for a lot of damage in this case. I mean, but there's like a lot of worm. Couldn't I hit a part of the worm where Urash isn't, maybe?
If you want to be able to sort of hit behind it, so essentially here, I would actually probably allow that, but you can't do it from where you are. You would need to move to do that. If you can see where you're positioned right now, there's no way you can like shoot past it. You'd have
Like
to get
this?
over there. That's not good. Yeah, but still, that's not close enough, not far enough, because you can't
No?
bounce it off a wall. You need to be over probably here to do that.
Well, I'm not gonna get there in one turn.
Right.
If I hit its head, would that still fry Urash?
Yeah,
I mean, the head
probably.
is like high above,
It's
isn't
high
it?
above, but as I mentioned, like 15 to 20 feet, and your radius on that fireball is a lot more than that. Once that fireball goes
Yeah,
off.
yeah, it's more than that. I have to admit that. Okay. Then maybe that's not a good thing right now. Okay. In that case, we take a smaller thing. What do we-
And just shoot Urash directly. It's the most merciful thing to do.
Just put me out of my misery. It's fine.
What's up,
I'll be
Terabithia?
with Tempest soon.
Hey, Terabithia, what's up?
Okay, and then I'm just gonna use a guiding bolt that does not explode, so that is
Okay.
better.
Fair enough. You may do
Okay.
so. And guiding bolt, what kind of damage, by the way? Is it
Radiant.
It's radiant. Okay, I want to make sure.
Yeah, I wanted to set it on fire, but you didn't let me.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Unfortunately, the bolt was not well enough guided to hit it. That is not going to get the job done. Mostly, this one doesn't just like bounce off it. This one actually misses because it's kind of crazily moving around. In your effort to be targeted, the thing shoots past it. Still pays no attention to you. Seems to be very, very angry at Urash.
Also, this is a very big table that I'm standing behind. So
Yes, that's very true. But it seems to be
interior
focusing
design's
its
fault.
attention right now on Urash. And so this thing, it's now its turn. You'll be not so happy to know. And so,
Oh, lovely.
and it bends down and
Oh,
attempts
it's
to
been fun.
and attempts to bite you, Urash.
Okay.
Let's see, and it is going to be let's see, 21 to hit.
Yeah, just about.
Okay, narrowly annihilates my armor class.
Yeah. What armor? I'm not wearing any armor.
You're not wearing any armor. Okay. This is going to do 44 piercing damage as you are bitten
Okay.
by this thing, and then you also feel its teeth explode into flames as it bites into you.
What?
And you
Awesome.
take another 6 points of damage from fire. So,
So that's
wait,
half,
50 points
half
of
that,
damage.
right?
so 50 points of damage. So that works out to half of that. So it works out to
So
50
22. So 25 points of damage.
25 points damage. That's the good news.
Okay.
The bad
How
news is that as you see it
is
doing
not
this, it literally bites your torso, tosses
Oh,
you up,
amazing.
and boom, and you all are horrified to see Urash disappear inside the maw of this beast.
It ate it in.
Oh, excellent. This is the moment I've been waiting for. I'll just attack it from
Are
the
you
inside.
gonna Men in Black it? Yeah.
I'm gonna Drax out of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I'm just gonna attack it from the inside.
Pretty much.
Nice.
Yep, 25 damage is the good news, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but if I fry it now, we'll fry Urash again.
Just do it.
That is a good point. All right, so it does that, and then it turns around as if looking for its next target. And it looks around and it sees you, Greta, just peeking over the table.
Yeah, I'm
and-
making a face like.
And it looks at you, and then you feel yourself being roughly pushed to one side, Greta, literally over about 5 feet. And something from behind you jumps onto the bench, and with its two-hand axe, comes straight down off the table on this thing.
See, this is what I wanted to do.
And it is harsh. Right, that was my intention. You stole that from
God
me.
damn it.
Okay, down with his great axe. Now you have not actually had the chance, any of you, to see Harshnag in action too much, except for the experience with the that Celsig happened to see right at the end, where he threw the axe and took out that one giant that he was dealing with. But this creature, this time, he seems to be not messing around. So let's see if he actually hits with this thing. Yeah, he does. Okay. So let's see. That is going to do damage that I won't tell you all. Let's see. This is going to do... Okay. So he brings down his axe upon it. And when the axe comes down... a couple of things you note. Actually, so right now, Greta is looking at this, and Celsig still is, and River is. So, unfortunately, Urash cannot because he's currently not.
Nope,
He's
it's real
inside.
dark where I am.
So the three who are outside, I would like you to make perception checks for me, please.
Perception, you say? 17.
Okay.
Urash just got eaten. I don't have time for this.
Let's have time for this stuff.
So
I'm just
sick.
like, he got eaten, and I can't take my eyes off it.
Okay, and then is that a 16?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Celsig and River, you both see the edge of Harshnag's axe, which is glowing a kind of sparkling white and blue. As it strikes the creature, it flares up, and there's this frost that kind of runs up the side, but as it hits the creature, it immediately melts. Like, immediately, like as if it had, like, it definitely is cut, like, it definitely got hurt, but if there is frost on it, it did nothing to it at all. Like, no extra frost or cold or anything happened. Just immediately melted when it hit the body of this thing.
Drat.
And so, yeah, Harshnag is, like, right on top of it now, Court of allying it. And Harshnag is, like, reaching out, trying to, like, grab, the thing is, he, like, is trying to grab one of its legs and then, like, kind of hammer his axe down upon it. It's probably would be even cooler if they weren't in the midst of fighting something right now. So that is Harshnag, and that brings us back up to the top. River, you just saw your friend get swallowed.
I sure did. I also saw that I, being a silver dragonborn of the ice variety, can do nothing. That is what I have learned.
Remoraz.
Yeah, well,
you
sir,
an advert all of a sudden?
you're right.
Remoraz.
Did I hear Celsig yell?
I would assume so. I think Celsig probably screamed it out as loud as he possibly could.
Okay, then I will mirror what he yelled, and I will scream at all of the people, hoping that Urash can hear.
Oh, I'll be coming with you, don't worry.
Yeah, well,
this is also a little spanner in the plan.
yeah. I mean,
Just squash its head, I'll be fine. I'll come out the
take
other
him
end.
to
All right.
take him to the squishy door. Take him to the squishy door.
Take it to the squishy. I'm trying to find the squishy door.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now, I'm lost. I'm looking for the squishy door.
Give it 6 to 7 days.
Let's see. What do I have that's not ice? Do I have anything that's not ice?
I do not know.
Everybody feed it and hope it chokes.
Haven't everyone to die from choking?
I have lightning bolt. Can I bolt a lightning?
I mean, sure. Where you are positioned, you need to make sure that you move over a little bit, but you could probably do that. This is something where the distance here will help you because you're not going to have it bouncing back and hitting any of your comrades. So.
Yeah. So let's see. It's 100 feet. Okay, so yeah, my bring is like there, and I can see. Or I mean, I'm taller than Greta, so I can just look over the top of her.
Yes,
That is
that's
a thing.
true. You could just shoot over her head as far as that goes.
Yeah, I can. Let's see. 8d6 lightning damage on a failed save.
Right. And I assume that's a dexterity save that it needs to make. Yes, dexterity saving throw. Okay. All right. So He will attempt to make a dexterity saving throw. He fails miserably, and so it absolutely hits.
Okay.
Now, okay, go ahead and hit it first. Well, actually, you know what? I do need you to specify what part of its body are you aiming for?
The big part.
Okay. All right.
The dangerous part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's fine. That's fine. So because what's going to happen is basically Urash is also going to have to. He is inside the body of this thing, which is about to get torn up by lightning. So,
Yep.
I'm not
39 points. That is pretty nice.
Yep.
That is pretty good.
39
Good job,
points of damage. Good stuff. Okay, now.
Hey, these meals cook each other for me.
So 39
Wait.
damage is going to be done to it. So that was very impressive.
This is very nice. Very,
Unfortunately,
very nice.
also 39 damage is done, so half of that, to Urash because he has no chance to do a dexterity saving throw while inside a creature and has no idea that he's
Yeah.
coming. So
This is true.
um,
So, like, what? 19 or 20? Because it's 19 and a half. So,
it would be 20. You'd round up.
like, go.
So you're
Oh,
at
very
30
Still good,
at
still
least.
good.
Like, round it up. I can take it.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
I could do this all day.
The part with teeth and feet sticking out of it. Yes, that part. Okay, so your lightning bolt shoots out and hits it. It seems angry, although it seems a little more occupied at the moment with the massive creature that just axed it. A question in front of
Hey,
it.
hey,
Okay, Urash. Actually, I'm sorry. Before I do that, are you moving anywhere else, River? Or are you staying where you are?
Stepping back again.
Okay.
So, like, I think that's about as far as I can go.
Then in that case, I would like to ask Urash, before you actually go, I'm going to let you know that you are being burned by acid, the acid of the
Okay.
creatures inside. So you
He's
are
being
going,
digested.
so you're
Yep.
going to slowly over a period of 100 years. Okay.
I love how nonchalant you are about this. You're like, oh, I got
Yeah.
eaten. That's fine.
That is
This
19
is the
more.
second largest creature that's eaten me. I won't go into the first.
19 acid damage, which means we're looking at about 10, let's say. for-
10. Yeah. I'm still good.
You're still good, and
I
you
mean,
may
I'm,
now
I'm
act.
less good, but I'm still good.
You may now act.
I mean, now act. What can I do? What? Describe it.
You are
Paint me a
blinded
picture.
and
Paint me a
restrained.
picture.
It is
So you
dark.
are currently inside this dark creature. Your body is actually kind of it's big enough that you're not like, you're kind of inside the middle of it. You are restrained, but you still have your axe with you. And it's completely dark inside. There is this terrible acid that's kind of burning your body. Outside, you hear roaring and shouting, and your body is kind of shaking about as the creature sort of, thrashes about wildly. And you are inside what is apparently its stomach.
Okay, I will make a reckless attack.
Also
I
smells
gain
bad.
advantage. Oh yeah, it stinks.
Yes.
Not the worst thing I've smelled though. I will make a reckless attack, so I gain advantage on my attack throw. Yeah, so when you make an attack on your first turn, when you make your first attack on your turn, you decide to attack recklessly, throwing caution to the wind, which I think
Okay.
is pretty apt right now. Doing so gives you advantage on melee weapon attack rolls using strength during this turn, but attack rolls against you have an advantage until your next turn. I don't think
You'll be happy to know you have total cover from any all
Yeah.
attacks at the moment.
I am completely secure.
Yep.
So I gain advantage. So let me just close that a second.
Exactly, Aaron. The fastest way to a monster's heart is through its stomach. We're about to find out. That is definitely
Oops.
a hit.
Oh, I rolled it twice. Sorry.
Oh.
So that one's definitely a hit.
Also
Okay.
a hit, yes.
We have an ally on the inside.
We do.
Excellent. So that's 20 points of damage.
Okay.
The one on the right is my rage attack.
Okay. 20 points of damage total?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so it takes...
That's for that. That's for that one attack.
Right. Also, before you go on, I did want to mention that when all of you saw Harshnag, the thing with the axe that I mentioned, you also saw his body was scorched by what felt like this sort of, almost like he was hitting a furnace, like this flame kind of slashed out and slapped him, essentially licked at his body as he hit this thing. I forgot to mention that, but that's an important extra detail. Okay, so you did that. That's your first attack, all right?
Yep. And now for my second attack. For my next trick, I will be rolling at advantage.
That 21 will hit.
The 21 will hit.
The 16
Fantastic.
would not have, so it's good.
Oh, it's a 9. It's only a 9 this time.
Okay, so you do a total of 29 points of damage?
Yep.
Okay. When that thing... let's see. When you hit it the second time, all of you on the outside see this creature go... Actually, wait. Let's see if it makes that. Okay. So you see this creature do this... and it's sort of like flailing about, and you hear this gurgling sound coming from somewhere below its somewhere below you, Rush. And then it goes... and it regurgitates you directly into the face of Harshnag. So you basically go flying out into Harshnag and slap him basically like directly, and he goes staggering backwards. Both of you fall backwards onto the ground. So the good news is you're out of him. The bad news is you are both now prone. And it's like, you see like sort of acid dripping from its mouth, also blood. You definitely have kind of messed it up. But I mean, also yourself messed up too.
Well, yeah, a little bit, but it was worth it, I think.
Okay, so, and Harshnag is kind of like, what are you doing? He kind of looks at you like, sort of staring at you almost like in shock.
Sorry, turns out I'm a bit indigestible.
And so he kind of shakes his head. Okay, that is going to... I'm not going to ask you where you're going to move because you're prone. That's going to lead us to Selsig, and Greta's on deck. Selsig, you just saw what happened. What do you want to do?
I'm going to continue shifting towards the door here. I'm going to be like, bring it over here! And I'm going to try and shoot it specifically in the mouth with my short bow. I acknowledge this will not be a necessarily easy shot.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to do this at then a -3. You can hit it because you're aiming over Greta and your other two big companions are prone, so you're kind of shooting up at it.
And is it paying me any attention right now, or is it just like,
no, at the moment it's just getting over, exactly, yeah, the latter. Yeah.
Okay, so at -3, no, that's not going to cut it.
Nope, no dice. Is it still flailing about? It goes, this time it does miss. And, okay. That is going to lead us, unless you want to move any further.
I do have a bonus dash, so if I'm going to pull back to just beyond the door here, hoping someone will notice and hear me.
Notice I'm leaving. It seems like right now everyone else is not paying attention to you because they're either getting swallowed or like, or they're doing the swallowing.
I have a plan.
This is my great idea. Okay, Greta. Greta, you are up. What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, now would be the time for the fireball, but I'm getting your hints here about the thing already being like really, really hot. Now, I wonder if being hot ultimately makes you immune to fire.
And we don't mean hot like too hot on a mic. You know what I'm saying, Byron? I don't mean that kind of hot.
Do you mean hot like super hot?
Hot. Super. Hot.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I wonder if it only makes him like immune to ice or also immune to fire, because he's apparently fire.
That's a good question.
So, and if this is risking a fireball, if this is worth for me risking a fireball, I will instead. Let's see what the range of this is. Only 30 feet. That is not going to cut it. That's bad. I have an idea. Where is it? I think I made it. Is it here? This is what I get for since my move. I cannot find my paper notes. This is the problem right now.
Oh no.
Yes. Because I lost my ages ago. I want to do like my special attack. Give me a moment. What was it called again?
Special attack.
Special attack known as Defeat Remoraz.
Yeah. known as the.
Yeah, I want to do a channel divinity.
The Hadouken of Foltis.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, good.
Yeah. Yes. I want to do light cleric channel divinity.
Okay.
Because that seems, I mean, that should be fine. It is 30 feet again. Oh gosh darn it. Can the damn worm not move closer? This does not fair. It's just
Well,
like
it is. It
not-
just leans over and grabs you when it needs to. It's very useful.
Yeah.
You're all nicely positioned on this buffet table for it. It's very it's like a salad bar. Oh, I pick one of the dwarf and one.
I'm gonna try the damn fireball. Maybe it's gonna work.
Okay.
Fireball has 150 feet. I'm just gonna shoot the fireball now.
All right. So the
Let's see
fireball
this.
will go streaking out.
Right, I need to choose the level. I have it on level 3 only this time.
Okay.
It is a DC 14 dexterity save if it tries to avoid this.
Okay.
If not, we have 26 damage.
Okay. So the good news is that it does not make its saving throw. So your fireball explodes directly on it. Just
Yes.
erupts in flame. There's a moment where it's completely covered and you can't see anything. Just
Yes.
smoke and flame. And then the smoke clears, seeming to have had zero effect whatsoever on this thing. Did zero damage to it at all. It had no effect. It just stares at you. Now
Okay,
it's looking at you, though.
I run backwards and scream, "It's not burning!"
That was supposed to work.
It was! Things usually burn when I set them on fire.
Usually, this is true.
You make an interesting point, Irchaplico, but I will actually respond to it with something other than just suspension of disbelief. And that is that there are certain creatures that have jaws and throats that are literally designed so that they will open wide so that you are essentially being dumped into the stomach. A creature like this is a cow, for example. Most of the digestion of the cow takes place entirely within the stomach, along with the rocks that it swallowed to chew up the grass. Hence, when it is sitting in the stomach of the Remoraz, it did get there within a very quick period of time and then was regurgitated just as quickly. But I appreciate your thoughts and suggestions about that idea. Let's see. Where were we? Yes. So, Greta unfortunately does not work the way you were intending for it to, and now the bad guy's going to go. So, it looks around and then spirals over the top and reaches out towards you, Greta, extending its body. And actually, the back of it is basically still back here, and it's just literally like stretched over and like reaching towards you. It's going to attempt to make a bite attack on you. 22 to hit.
Yes, 22 hits.
Okay, let's see. And that is going to be 34 piercing damage and 9 fire damage.
34, so we are at 43 damage in total, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
And the next
I'm alive.
thing is...
Oh, it's gonna swallow me, yes.
That's the theory. So it is going to try to do that. So it picks you up and just Greta disappears into its maw.
I'm pretty sure it's closer than 30 feet now.
Oh yes, now you're right on top. Yeah, you have no problem with distance. You are now inside it, and you see what you think are the inside cuts on the inside of its stomach of some previous creature that was inside there.
Just Urashwa's ear carved into his gut.
Yeah. You see the light just before its mouth closes, and you are plunged into darkness. Okay. That is going to, and then having done so, it then turns back and sees River in front of it, and it's kind of like towards you. So Harshnag gets to go next. Harshnag staggers up and says, "This is getting tiresome," and jumps forward again with one motion, trying to bring its axe down on this thing. Let's see. First attack is a miss, but the second one is going to hit. You'll all be happy to know. Let's see, and that second hit is going to do some big amount of damage. I know you all can't wait for it. Okay, oh, it is a big amount of damage, actually. All right. So, strikes it again in its side, and the creature swivels back to face Harshnag, away from you, River, for the moment. And Harshnag says, "Whatever you're going..." Oh, I'm sorry, with the echo machine. "Whatever you're going to do, it better be quick. Greta won't have long in there."
I heard that!
So,
I climb back in its mouth to try and get Greta out.
River, it's your turn.
I've done this before. It's fine.
Oh, I'm running. I have myself a mega scared.
Okay.
So I'm like right behind.
Mega
so.
scared.
Okay, so I like the idea that Celsic is standing there, and all of a sudden River's just like shoots out the door. Like, it's about time you listened. Where are you going? Okay, so are you just double moving? Like you're just like?
Yeah, I just ran.
Okay,
That's all I'm doing.
so you're just booking. All right. Urash, you are still prone, but you can get to your feet if you wish. You see that Greta is no longer there.
Okay. So I won't have heard anyone shouting anything about plan, will I?
I think you would have heard plan before you got swallowed, but not what that was.
Okay.
You do note that Celsic and River are both no longer in the room.
Did I see Greta get eaten?
Yes, from your position, because you were prone.
Oh, then I attack it.
Okay.
I 100% attack it. Sorry, guys.
Is this a roguelike? We're gonna find out, 8-bit.
We'll find out in a minute.
Okay, you can attack it.
Okay, not doing reckless attack this time because it can attack me back.
Okay.
But a 25 should hit, right?
That will absolutely hit.
That's good, right? Yeah. What's my damage for this? Come on, tell me my damage. 14.
14 damage. Okay. All right. You can see that the creature is, still, but it looks like it's starting to get kind of beat up. Like you've definitely inflicted quite a bit of damage on it.
Do I see like the shape of a cleric through its stomach or anything like that, or like maybe a very hot fire, like glowing from inside it, or anything like this?
Yeah, exactly. No, not so
nothing
much.
like that.
This is very much a Zelda thing, right? You just drop the bomb in the middle of it and just wait for it to blow up. You
pretty much. Yeah.
You have not seen any such thing.
My next question is: so, can I, with 2 actions, can I attack and then use an item?
Well, you did the 1 attack. I would say it depends.
Yep.
So, I don't think you're going to be able to use an item because your ability. Well, it depends on the item, I guess, because your attacks are part of your normal attack action. The other action was you standing up, so you really don't have any other actions left except a bonus action or the other attack.
The answer to the question, what is my action going to be, is going to depend on the answer. What heals? What benefit does a potion of healing or a potion of extra healing have against me?
I'm not going to allow that. Your attack is part of an attack action. So if you want to take the second attack, you can do that.
That's fine.
But, yeah. So
I just attack it again.
Yeah, because you're prone and then stood up. So that was how that worked. Now, if the potion of healing is a bonus action, which it might be, actually, we need to double check that because it might be that the potion of healing is a bonus action.
I don't know.
Let me double check. Because if it's a bonus action,
I'm just like, I've never used this. This may sound odd, people, but I've never used a potion of healing as playing barbarian.
There was one used on you.
No, I completely understand this, but I've got these potions on me, and I've had them for a while.
They're like still child-proof sealed. Like you don't even know how do I open the?
One's gone like solid, so I'm not quite sure. I think I want to. But like,
yeah, I'm going to say it's a regular action, not a bonus action. So
okay.
So yeah,
I was also going to ask, like, if it heals like 5 health, then I'm not going to bother because I don't really know the healing benefits of it. But if it's like, oh no, a normal potion of healing will heal like 50 hit points.
No.
Then I'll just quaff one of those as soon as I can.
Decidedly not.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just attack it again, or rather, I'll try to attack it. See what happens. 21.
21 will hit.
Go. Will a 13 kill it?
No.
Damn it. Will a 13 cut it open?
No.
Damn.
Aw.
Well, I tried.
Yeah. It will.
I took a good chunk out of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it will not be happy about any of what has just happened.
It can try and take my 20 hit points off me.
Can you inspire? Well, not at the moment because he already actually hit it, but be ready, Echo. You may need to do those inspirations in just a moment. Okay, that is okay. So that's Urash's turn. Are you? And you can't move because you're where you are. Okay. Celsic,
I just got.
You now see that you see River is sort of bolting past you, but everybody else is either swallowed or in there engaged with this thing.
Yeah. So I'm dropping my bow. I'm drawing my short sword and my rapier, and I'm charging it.
Wow.
And I'm going under.
Okay, you're going under it. Okay.
Yes.
So you should be able to get underneath it, but you won't be able to attack it this turn if I'm calculating this right.
I do have the cunning action, which gives me a bonus dash.
Okay, how far you can go in a dash?
Hang on. Base speed is 25.
Okay, so 25 would get you to here, and then another 25 would get you to about here. So dash plus move. Okay, because of the dash is a bonus. Yeah, right. You can attack it.
Okay.
You're going to be right on top of it. I mean, like, you're under it. I understand, but
Yeah, I am going for the fleshy parts.
okay. Yeah, exactly. Void Dragon. Leroy. Yeah. Okay. Good up.
Right. So first up, I assume it didn't notice me. Well, I'll ask, did it notice me charging?
Nope. Absolutely not. It is very focused
Okay.
on the big giant and barbarian that keeps hitting it.
I know I'm not actually rolling a dice, but come on, baby. 23.
Hit.
Woo!
That's beautiful.
Here comes the fun.
Here comes the dice.
19 damage.
Okay. So it takes all of that. And it is not happy about it. It's now starting to look very messed up. It's definitely not dead, but it is definitely looking messed up for sure.
It's probably not going to like what's going to happen next then, because I have a bonus short sword attack from my other hand.
All right.
This one won't be a sneak attack. This will just be a. Nah, it's an 11.
That's a miss, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You were so happy with the one. You're like, ah, oh, well. So,
Yeah, the leg caught. It's just like. Ding!
so as it feels the bite of your blade, it goes, and turns like so. What
does that a
happens
lot.
is so you hit its segmented body, right? Its curved neck and body like curves around, so it's like now staring you in the face, and like its head is your entire body size.
Can I take a free action to soil myself?
We'll all allow
That's a
it.
free action. Yeah, I'll allow that to occur. Okay. So we begin with, other than that though, very, very effective. We begin with Greta. So Greta, you are at the beginning of your turn. You are going to take, unfortunately, some damage from this terrible acid that is within it, as I have already previously mentioned.
Can I maybe make a constitution save or something?
I wish I could oblige you, but I cannot.
Just whack it soft bits, you'll be fine.
You are going to take.
I remember how much. I remember how much damage you took. This is going to be critical right now. How much this is going
You
to
took
be.
24
Possibly.
points of damage from acid just now.
I took 24 points of damage.
Yes, from acid.
I fear I'm not going to do anything this turn or any turn after this. I'm at -4 then.
Right, so you are down and also swallowed. So you are now inside this beast as your vision fades from you. Not that you could see anything anyway. Very, very, very powerful corrosive at the moment. Now, she is unconscious, but technically not dead yet. But I would advise you take this thing down real fast. It is now, you will be not happy to hear, its turn. And so the Remoraz, seeing you, as I mentioned this sort of thing before, is going to attempt to bite you, Saber, with a 22 to hit. It literally keeps rolling. Yeah, I don't want to tell you what it's rolling, but okay. Let's see. Now you are going to take.
I thought I could get a heal in before this happens.
Yeah. You are going to take 32 points of piercing damage from that.
No, I'm not, because I'm going to use a reaction to uncannily dodge and take only half that
So you
damage.
take 16 damage from that.
Good lad.
Unfortunately, you also take another 10 points of damage from fire, and you can't dodge that also. So
That's fire, yeah?
yeah,
And
That
how much
wasn't my fault.
Is that 10 points?
No.
that's 10. That's 10 additional. So you have
Okay.
a total of what is that? 60. So 26, I think was just done.
That
to
takes
you?
me down to, hang on, 43.
17, right?
Yeah, 17.
Okay. So yes, it does that, and it is like, and you can see that it's sort of whipping out its legs at you as if it's trying to grasp you into a pleasant hug, probably, no doubt.
Free hugs.
Yeah, exactly. Harshnag is like, Harshnag says, "She's got to get out of there," and brings his axe down again. And Harshnag has been doing work. Unfortunately, though, oh my goodness, he critically misses twice. So both of his blades go clang, clang on the floor to the left and the right. Probably because he's trying to avoid hitting you. He's worried about Celsig, and he's like, and He's like, and he starts swearing, clearly swearing. Does anyone speak giant?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay, so he's just kind of like, it sounds very, very foul and not at all safe for work. Like whatever he's swearing is not sound good. Okay, so that was unfortunate. That leads us to River, who is still bolting. Now, River, are you, like, where are you bolting to?
Well, I thought we were taking it to the front doors.
So you keep running and then you look around behind you and there's like nobody and you're like,
Yeah, no one's there. So like now I'm. The question is, was I ahead of Selsig?
yes.
So like, what? Okay, so I would not have seen him turn around. Selsig, did you say anything when you left?
I think we could say I probably go and
Okay, well, if you like shrieked or something, I turn around and oh no! Okay, so if that's the case, then I did notice. Otherwise, River would have just kept going. Oh, hey. One moment. Let me look up and see if this does what I think it does.
Please don't shock it.
Nope. I already did that. I can't do it again. I have a ray of sickness.
Well,
Can I make it froed up?
That's interesting. Array of sickness. Makes a constitution. No, it would poison it.
Would poison it.
That's, but I love the idea though. It would definitely poison it if it does not make a Constitution saving throw. 60 feet though means that you would need to basically put on the brakes.
Yeah.
I think I would allow you to, because of where it is. Ironically, for Saber, the fact that it currently has Selsig, where Selsig is, you probably would be able to stop, turn around, and come back close enough that you could actually, yeah, 60 feet. So
that would be like there.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
actually
try
probably
that.
right at the doors you could even do if you want, River. Like it's
Okay.
right at the doors if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Okay. Let's do Ray of Sickness.
Come on and get down with the sickness. Wow. Okay. Right. So, I started rolling. How about I let you roll damage? I'm going to be making a saving throw.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So you roll. So what you're going to be doing is, you make a ranged spell attack. So, you actually have to hit it first. So you're going to be making a ranged spell attack, which should say on your character sheet. Oh wait, your character. Did we never get your character on here?
no.
We
Still hasn't happened.
We definitely.
It's okay
gotta
though.
do
We're almost done with the campaign, so that doesn't matter.
No, that is not true.
Yeah, I know.
You got a while. Okay, so for you to be able to do this, so hold on 1 second as I pull out the thing.
You don't have to make the saving throw. You can just take it.
Yeah, you could just take it.
Yeah.
That's an
Yeah, I
option.
Sure, like that's clearly the case. Okay, so what you're going to be doing is you should have a spell attack number that you've got somewhere on your sheet, River.
Spell attack. I am looking. Sorry, guys. I'm still a noob, just so you guys know.
It should be on top of your spell list. It should
Oh,
say
it's in my spell list. See, I'm
Yeah,
looking in the right spot.
should say spell attack bonus.
Oh, I have spell save DC. Spell attack bonus +7 is what
Okay,
it says.
so there you go. So you're rolling
So-
1d20 plus 7 is what you're doing.
D plus 7. Thank you.
No problem.
I'm back. Did we win?
No, I think I just missed.
Unfortunately, that is not going
Did
to hit.
Yeah, I just missed.
I am sorry to say.
Spelling poorly.
That is
Yes.
that is unfortunately a miss, and I think you moved back to get into range of that. So I think that's all you got, River. At the
Yep.
moment.
Yep.
It was a good idea though. But okay, Urash,
Hello.
you've arrived just at the right time. Your
Good.
friend has been swallowed, and Selsig has just been
Which
hit
one?
for a
Another
bunch
one?
of damage. No, not a new one
just
yet.
me. Still just me.
Oh, right. Okay.
What's up, Takanja?
All right. The smell of poop coming from me made me seem
I was
unappealing.
going to say, I'm just like, God, what is that smell? That's the second worst thing I've smelled today.
Exactly.
Right.
You are standing, so you can now. get up
I'm
and get up again.
standing.
I'm still standing.
Yeah.
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 Well, not me, like personally, but at least a rush.
So can I use an item and attack?
Sure, if you're because you're not actually moving anywhere, so you could just use
Yeah.
the item and then attack. Sure.
Now, when I attack, is this classed as one of my attacks, or can I still attack twice?
The attack action is, I think, the double attack. I would need to confirm
Okay.
that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Okay.
Which is why I let you do it last time as an attack. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to do that.
Love you, Alf. Right. Talk me through using a potion of extra healing.
Okay. Extra healing. Do you
Extra healing. Yeah, I'm breaking out the big boys.
All right. So for extra healing, do you actually? Because I don't remember. Because the regular one is 44 plus 4. Extra healing is.
Yeah, because Urash doesn't know the difference. He just knows one sparkles and one doesn't. So he's just like, well, I'm kind of beat up and everyone's kind of dying around me, so I'll drink the sparkly one.
Yes, exactly.
I'm going with the river logic approach.
Sparkly.
Sparkly, eat the sparkles.
Yeah.
Let me just look that up quickly. Because we have not actually had a chance to use extra healing in this.
I'm just like trying to get the top off. And I was like, oh god damn it!
Exactly. This doesn't work the way I thought it would.
I was smashing it against the Rhinorax's side. I'm just like, just give me a minute, okay?
Exactly. So it's 5d4 plus 5. Now, this is assuming you're I assume you're just like knocking it all back, right? Like you're.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, 5d4 plus 5.
Yeah, I won't know any different, so I'll just like chug the whole thing.
I
So
think it's
5
logical.
d4 plus 5. So that plus 5. So
Yep.
17.
So 17. Okay. 30.
So 17.
Okay.
So I'm back up to 37.
Okay. Yep.
Cool.
All right. And now you're going to attack. You said.
Yeah, I just want to delete that off my inventory because otherwise, in like a couple of episodes,
I'll
I'm
do
going
it
to be
again.
like,
Yeah. And I'll have
I've got
forgotten
this
at that
potion
point
of
because
extra
of those-
healing.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have all forgotten about it. Right. Yes. So I'm going to attack it.
Okay.
Let's see how this goes. That's going to miss.
That is not a hit.
14. Second one.
That's a hit.
24.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
24 is a hit.
Damage. Come on, rage damage. 11 points of damage.
Okay. Not dead, but looking very, very badly hurt.
Cool.
To be clear, in case anyone is wondering, you have done now about 170 points of damage to it so far.
Ooh.
Wow.
Big creature.
Okay.
Between you and
how much does this thing have?
more than that.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But it's badly hurt, or at least it looks
Okay.
like it. Okay, and then you can't move any further because of what we just talked about.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, that's me.
Celsic, you are, after having been hurt, you're like,
Yes. So, question: 15-foot cone in front of me. Will that hit anyone besides it?
It will hit Greta.
What? No, I went try it. I'm protected by warm.
this might be beneficial for her anyway.
Okay. I'm curious.
Heal.
So
Remoraz Death / Greta Heal Potion, very specialized.
So I just go, "Oi, ugly! You got something in your eye." Try and poke it in the eye. Doesn't matter whether I actually manage to or not because I'm going to color spray it in the face.
Okay.
At second level, so I'm going to roll 8d10. So give me a second here to set that up.
What? 8d10 of what?
It's just 8d10 for now. Bear with me.
She's like 8d10 damage. No, it's not.
No,
not
well,
What?
it's relevant to damage, but no. So what it is? I've just got rid of my bloody spell that I had popped out.
What on earth does this mean? What do the numbers mean, Celsic?
If its current HP are equal to or less than that, it is currently blinded.
Well, it starts going and like flailing around wildly. It definitely does not look like it can see.
I see.
Excellent. So it is now blind until the spell ends. Hang on, there is a save, I think. How does the spell end? It doesn't say. It just says the creature's blinded until the spell ends.
Wait,
It doesn't
But it
end.
doesn't
It's
say
just
how
leave
the
it at
spell
no,
ends.
wait a second.
No, I know. I'm reading it in Roll20 right now. So let's just have a second. There's got to be a saving throw for it. Something I'd have thought.
One round.
Oh, okay, so it's blinded for one round.
So blinded
Okay,
for one round.
that's That's
That's
still
one
means
round,
I
and it
can-
will.
Yeah.
In case anyone is unclear, by the way, it means that attack rolls against the creature have advantage. Its attack rolls have disadvantage. Also, I've always found this funny. A blinded creature automatically fails any ability check requiring sight. Like, just to be clear, when you can't see, you can't do things that require you to see. I just want to be clear that that's how this
Yeah.
works.
There are players around that need to be told this. Kind
Yeah,
of
I know.
thing.
Thank God I don't play with any of them. It doesn't
So I'm
say
gonna-
that. It says.
So I'm going to take advantage of its blindness to use my bonus disengage action from cunning action,
Okay.
and then move 25 feet away from it over towards Harshnag.
That is a
Seems-
smart idea.
That seems like,
Behind the two barbarians.
seems
Yeah.
like a logical precaution. Okay, now.
That's not a bad little glass cannon charge from me, I think.
No, I
Yeah, that was good.
I totally agree.
It's gonna save my ass next turn.
Okay, so
Play to save me, I fear, because here comes the acid.
okay, so
Well, that one, by the way, yeah, if there's any left over, it affects Greta, who is probably now also blind as well as dying.
she was already blinded actually inside there, so I think that
I'm blind.
Yeah.
Yes, that's okay. I'm
you are
fine
going
with
to
this.
take.
And unconscious.
You're going to take another 20 points of damage from acid, Greta. So what this means is you are now at negative 24. Now,
Yes.
let me just describe for everybody. If she reaches negative half of her hit points, like in other words, which would be negative 32, she is dead. So there, and that also includes the death saving throw thing, which she's now going to make for us.
How do I
now,
do it?
The way we do death saving throws, this is a good chance to go over the death rules. You're going to make you're going to roll a d20. If you roll a 1, that is considered 2 failures. If you roll below a 10, that's a 2 to a 9, that is 1 failure. Anything from a 10 to a 19 is a success. And if you roll a 20, you actually are all the way back to 1 hit point if you happen to critically succeed. Now,
I was just inspired.
you were just inspired? Yeah, that seems like a wise idea. I think I would
So
advise so.
I roll a d20 and then we see what happens. Yes.
Correct. Now you're going to be doing that if you're using your inspiration on this. I assume you are, Greta. Is that?
Yes.
fair to say?
This seems like a. Thank you, Echo Alpha. Yes.
Thank you, Alpha.
Thanks, Echo. Thanks, Echo.
Okay. 2 d20 coming up.
What just happened? Where did I lose you?
Did you lose me?
What did I just?
What's happening?
What's
Am I
happening?
This
you
is
hear
Vince is killing me. I can hear everyone.
It
I'm gonna
looks like I
reload.
just-
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I know. I lost the map. I lost everything.
Oh, I'm gonna wait with my roll then.
Yeah,
I'm
wait,
gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
Look at
They were
that, two
both-
natural
they-
20s.
They were both 20s. My goodness.
Yeah.
What I like
Oh.
about this is how completely believable it is.
Okay. I'm gonna
just-
roll now. Okay. You
wait,
ready?
Whoa. Don't not just yet. Let me just make one. Let me just build the
I
tension
would like
a
to
little
know if I'm dead.
bit. I know.
Yeah, so would
Join
we.
us at ArfCon.
Arvcon, the search for Greta. The whole thing is just like she puts her hand out like on the top and is like, "You are always the most human." Like she's there. Oh god.
You are and will always be a thief, Celsic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing about that is, yeah, it's a great scene, but does anyone ever realize that as like Kirk is saying that, he's like, of all the people I've ever known, Spock was always the most human. I'm like, did you racially insult him on the way out the door? Like, he's like he spent his whole life not wanting to be a human. Like,
Can I make my damn death saving throw?
yes, you may now make your death save. Not 9 plus
wait.
7. So you have a 9 and you have a 7, which means both. So either one of those is going to be a fail. So it's
Yes.
1 failure, but it's not 2 failures. When you get to 3 failures, you are dead. If you get to 3 successes, you are okay again. I mean, you're stabilized anyway.
So I wait.
So you wait for the next turn. Although you may have a hard time surviving through the acid next turn anyway if they don't get you out. So we're going to see
Yes.
how that all
Thank
goes.
you. I got that. Down.
I understood that. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. All right. So the Remoraz is going to turn around now. So you disengaged from it, I believe, Selsig, which leads just Urash sitting there.
Hello.
Okay. It is going to try to attack you. 27 to hit.
Yeah, just about.
Okay. Oh, wow. So that's going to do 48 points of piercing damage, and it's going to do 10 points of fire damage. So that's a grand total of 58 halved. So 29.
Oh, 29, yeah.
Okay. So you're down to 8.
Pretty much, yeah. I just can't find my character sheet. I don't know where my character sheet is gone.
Can you use up your very last inspiration for Pyron Jade's death save? That's up to you, and you may well want to do that if you'd like to see Pyron Jade actually be hanging out with us on Friday. I mean, she'd be hanging out regardless, but with Greta.
With a character.
Yes, with a character. Okay, so it does that. Now, in its weakened state, it does attempt to kind of pick you up, but I'm going to give you the opportunity actually to make a saving throw against this because it is like pretty badly hurt. So I'm going to give you a chance to make a saving throw against being picked up, unless you don't want.
What kind of saving throw is it?
It is a Constitution saving throw. Because it's
a Constitution saving throw.
Yep, not strength.
Okay, that's not my strongest point, nor anything
Would you
I have
prefer
advantage
dexterity?
in.
You probably would, right?
No, actually, no. Of saving throws, I would prefer Constitution. I do have a good saving throw in Constitution.
Charisma
No, I just
saving throw. It's like
I get advanced intelligence. I just get advantage in a lot of strength based stuff, as you know.
No, this is not
Constitution saving throw.
You do make it though. So you were like,
God.
you try to, it like tries to swallow you, and you kind of actually, you tell me, how do you like? It tries to bring its jaws down. How do you keep from being swallowed this time?
I jam my axe into its mouth. Just like barring it open.
Yep. So it's like trying to like close its jaws. You know you hear the straining.
Can I reach anything soft and squishy and try and like rip it out?
Its tongue.
Its tongue. Yeah, that'll do.
You'll have to do that on your turn though. But you blocked it that first time. So your axe is in its mouth.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. That leads us to Harshnag. And Harshnag gets up shaking his head. And I never miss twice. And brings down his axe. And he sure doesn't. He actually hits both times. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, what he does is so you block, its mouth with the axe, right?
Yep.
And he kind of brings his axe. He brings his axe around underneath it and opens this enormous cut, which is just oozing ichor and blood and all this stuff. And it's flailing about, spraying everybody. It looks like right on the edge of death. And the Harshnag is like grabs its leg as the thing is like pummeling away. It sort of is holding it in place, and he's like, "Finish this goddamn thing!" He yells at all of you that can hear him and are not unconscious. So, River, you were up. Urush is on deck.
Says he who critically missed. Whatever, dude.
Yeah, not that time though.
Yeah, not that time. No, but there was a time. I remember.
I remember when you
River
critically
remembers.
missed. River, on the other hand, is not critically missed in the last round. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Shh.
It was a regular miss. It wasn't a critical miss. It was a regular miss.
It was a regular miss.
Yeah.
Let's see. The problem is everything I have is fire or ice. And so I'm just like, whoa! The only other thing that I have, other than trying to do Ray of Sickness again, is Acid Splash. So we could try Acid Splash. 40.
It should only hit him on the outside, shouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll hit him on the outside.
Yes.
Well, you're already covered in acid, so.
And I'm aiming for his face, hopefully.
Okay. Acid in the face.
Acid in the face.
Yeah, but Urush is in the face, isn't he?
Oh crap! Is Urush at the face?
It's fine.
Oh, you
don't
are
worry
in the
about it.
face. No,
No,
it
may
you're
bounce
gonna
off and then
die.
hit.
Don't worry about it. I made this bed.
What can River see from here?
Well, she can see Selsig sort of looking up at it. She can see Harshnag with a massive bloody axe that he's holding and holding onto one of the creature's legs. You can see Urush kind of screaming at it in incoherent rage, and you cannot see Greta, who is currently
Can I
inside
see its belly?
At times, it is flailing about wildly. so you can see.
Well, I could aim for like its side, hoping to hit the belly, but if it doesn't hit the belly, it'll still hit the side. Is that all right?
Yes, that's fine. And actually,
Okay.
put that on hold for just a second.
Yeah.
Urash, I forgot that he was actually blinded by the color spray last turn, so that means he actually did that at disadvantage. Would an 18 have hit
That's a good
you?
point. Yes.
I was wondering about that, but I didn't
Yeah,
want to.
no, an 18 would have hit. Yeah, no, my bad. I
Yeah,
just
18 would
realized
have hit.
that. Okay, so all the rest of it still happened. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Never mind then.
cool.
Okay.
Back we go.
All right. So I'm
Ooh.
guessing.
Oh, we're getting a raid from
getting a
Outstar.
raid.
Outstar's raids. Outstar. 69 raiders from Outstar have joined. I will avoid the obvious joke and move on to thank Rouge Crocs.
Especially for Outstar.
Exactly, especially from Outstar. From Shadows Embrace You. She doesn't have that much longer. She can make those jokes, I mean, pretty soon, Outstar is going to be...
Wholesome.
She'll have, yeah, she will have, it had to be
Wholesome.
69. Exactly, Outstar. Again, congratulations, Outstar, and I hope all is going well. And welcome, Raiders. Thank you all so much for the raid. We appreciate it. Thank you all. You are watching as your stream team replacement leader, Outstar, is her character is dying.
Replacement.
Yeah, I said replacement leader. That's what it is. You are now the head. You're the king, the queen. Although your character is burning an acid. I
think we did an Outstar song to that old comic series intro of Brave Star. Outstar.
Oh, Brave Star. I hadn't thought about that. She's not a replacement. She's a queen slayer. Yeah, she's like Thronebreaker, the real life version. Okay. Yeah. So you can do that, River, if you wish, for the acid splash. So. Acid splash means they have to make a dexterity saving throw. All right. And Urash is also going to have to make a dexterity saving throw.
Is the worm still making it as a disadvantage because of being blind?
That is, unfortunately, it doesn't affect the saving throw per se. You'd think it would, but it does not actually affect that. Mostly, I guess, because it's just flailing around anyway. I'm guessing that does it say on there what your spell DC, your spell save DC is on that sheet by chance, River?
It's 15.
15, okay. It does not make it. So it will have to take. So you will roll the acid damage for it. And then Urash will have to do the same thing.
2. Woo!
2. Okay. So it kind of flails about like, and as you are sort of looking at it, the creature sort of turns and looks at you and begins to gradually, almost as it seems in slow motion, tumble towards you as it seems to be falling into its end. Urash, I need you to do two things. First, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to see if you got hit by this acid.
Okay, bear with me. Dexterity saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
13.
That is not going to do it. So you are
Okay.
going to take 2 points of damage, I believe, which means 1 point of damage,
Oh, okay.
leaving you down to 7. That's the good news. The bad news is now the thing is toppling on top of you. So you will need
Cool.
to make another dexterity saving throw to avoid being crushed beneath the body of this worm.
Cool. Do I technically see this coming?
Oh yeah, I would say so. Yes.
Okay, then
You see it
I
coming.
gain an advantage. Then I roll this at advantage.
Sure.
Then.
Wow.
I will 100% take the 21.
Wow. Almost a critical miss. Okay. You dodge out of the way.
I just be like, hi Greta.
Exactly. So you dodge out of the way as the thing like hits the ground. This massive cloud of dust and ice and everything goes up everywhere. It does, think of the end of Jabba's life in Return of the Jedi. It does this. Its tongue flicks out and expires.
Yes.
So
Nice.
it had literally 1 hit point left when you did
Really?
that. Yeah. So your 2 points eliminated it.
So I like spit on it.
Nice.
It's like bleh.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the good news. That's the good news.
Could it open? Could it open? Could it
I
open?
was just gonna say that. So I'm not taking you out of initiative yet. Urash, this is up to you. So are you gonna kind of rush up and try to cut it open?
Yeah. Yeah, I am. Like, do you want it in initiative? Like, do you want it as a roll?
No. You are
Okay.
so you're where you are, so you can run over there.
Yeah.
What I do want to know though is how are you cutting it open? Like, are you just chopping at it, or like 'cause
Right.
again, you don't want to like chop the currently
No,
unconscious.
that's true. I have made a rough incision and I'm tearing it open. Like, I'm diving my hands in to see if I can get Greta out.
I'm going to ask you to make a strength check on that. Celsig, are you going to assist?
Oh,
You're
with
next up in
pleasure.
the turn order. Are you going to?
I'm assisting, and I'm also readying a potion of extra healing and a potion of healing to hand, so I've got them ready to just pour on in or whatever with Greta as soon as we've got a.
I'm going to say, considering I get advantage on push, pull, lift, or break, I would get advantage of this.
Do it then. Make it
Cool.
so. Not a save.
21.
Not a save. A check.
Oh, not save. God damn, sorry. There we go. Nearly. 23.
And you like rip it open. There's this massive, terrible tearing and ripping sound. Blood spurts everywhere. And then, I'm sorry. I just had this. We were just talking about Outstar being pregnant. And I just had this image of like, and then
Stop this!
You
No,
pull.
just don't, just don't go there. No,
Do it. I want to
don't, don't.
Has anybody ever seen a horse be born? Anybody at all?
Greta's being reborn.
Yeah, you hear this music, da
armored.
da 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 da, bum 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 bum. And out comes holding a GOG comm sign. No, I'm kidding. People.
And on the third turn, she rose again.
Oh god. No, but pulls forth the very unconscious Greta. And puts her out. She looks awful. She is covered in acid. You can still see and hear the acid sort of sizzling on her. And Harshnag kind of says, hurry! And he's kind of waving at you, Celsi, because he sees you got already the potion up.
I've got them. As I'm running over, I'm yelling, get that acid off her! And I'm
Yeah, I try and take her burning armor off of her.
Pouring them both in her mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So go ahead and roll this extra healing you said, right? So we said
Yeah,
5d4 plus 5, I think.
5d4 plus 5. Let me do that.
I can't let you do that, Dave.
4 plus 5 for the extra healing.
Actually, this whole fight felt like the movie Alien to me. I don't know why.
That's
18.
Okay, now you start at 0. You'll be happy to know. Thanks for the follows, by the way, on GOG, everybody. Welcome to the DRM free community. All right, so you're 0 and then 18. You're the first time you're really unhappy about me having the talent to inspire vivid images. I'm sorry. I'm just the messenger. Okay, so that brings Greta up to 18 points, and as the sort of acid, the armor is pulled off, you see Pyron. Not Pyron. You don't see this. This is you're fine. Your character sees as you're lying on your back, kind of like your eyes flutter open, and you hurt everywhere. And there's a horrific smell, and you see the anxious faces of Celsig and Harshnag, and the heavily breathing sort of figure of Urash, who is turning back to you. His hands are just covered in blood and acid, just all down his front. He looks like just, Asmodeus from the hells himself, just kind of like out of this. And Harshnag, you see kind of coming up from behind, and takes the body, like with one hand, takes the body of this thing and tosses it with an awful squish against the wall, and is like, that's about time we had an actual fight, my friends. And an eerie silence kind of settles on over the room. First of all, chat, a little bit of a round of applause for the party. That was no joke.
From me as well.
No, I said from the party. Like I was like, yeah. Good stuff, people. That was no joke.
That was a good fight. That was a good fight.
All right. And so now there is one other mechanical effect that this has had on what has gone on here at Greta, and that is this isn't ironically going to affect Urash because this is just his skin, but it is going to affect your armor. Your armor, Greta, is now pitted and scarred from having been inside that beast, and so it is actually going to lose an armor class. So it is your armor class is dropped by 1. You know what? Lowered by 1. You might be able to get this repaired by a top quality smith or something like that, but this is the sort of scenario that you're in. And after a minute, Harshnag kind of looks around and says, I assume you were going to attempt to crush that thing, Selsig.
That was the idea. It crossed my mind. We had giant crushy blocks at the front.
It would have worked, too, if this thing hadn't decided it was better to try all of you out as its meal.
It's not the first time hunger's interrupted one of our plans. Right, River?
He says, my concern is that this creature, which is a predator in the worlds of ice, if it could have gotten in here, it means that there must be tunnels and things that lead from the outside. Didn't you say, Selsig, that you saw something up to the north? Some rough tunnels that were created by something, you said?
We found a tunnel with the spiders in them.
And he says...
Which, in hindsight, would have been the better route to take.
And he says, not so much, perhaps. How about you, Greta and Urash?
I'm just lying there with like what feels like the worst sunburn of my life.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just like wiping blood and acid off my arms.
And I'm just staring at the ceiling for a moment because I had a really bad moment in there. So I'm just like staring. And then I just prop myself up a little bit, look around, and still a bit stunned, ask, anybody need healing? And then just fall back.
I'm just gonna go over.
I hand Greta my water skin.
I just splash it all over me for a moment.
Whatever you need.
I'm just gonna go over to Greta and kneel beside her and just go, "You're all right. You're back. You're all right."
I think I need a moment, just for a few months.
Okay. Take as long as you need.
Shadowner, it's okay to cry. I would be weeping uncontrollably upon emerging from that thing. Like
I've been killed in battle. I've been killed in battle as well, so it's not a fun experience coming back from it.
Yeah, Greta had a few near-death experiences in the last month, and it's taking a toll. She's really like just lying there, and she's all about seeing the light, but that's not what she meant. It's she's just really a bit out of it for a moment.
Okay.
I'll go over to Selsig. I need to find something to like wipe the blood and acid off my arms. So I just need to like pick up a rag or something like that, just to wipe my arms and stuff while I'm talking to him. But I'll just say I didn't know you had a plan. I'm sorry. Once I start a fight, it's my belief dictates that I can't back away from it. So I didn't know we had a plan.
Is leading it into an ambush considered backed away by your code?
No, but I don't know. It's just real hard to disengage. Once I'm there.
I pat you on the back of the leg.
Like, watch that. That's probably got acid on it too.
Ow.
Yeah, he pats me on any part of my body. He's just like, ow, that stings really harsh.
Heat of battle.
I do also, before you continue, I want to mention to Urash that as your sort of rage begins to calm and all that, you realize that what you're saying to Selsig is also kind of seems literally true. It is very, very hard for you to sheathe your axe again. There is almost a feeling as if it kind of pulsates within your hand, almost as if it is desiring to be, used again, and you are able to sheath it, but only with difficulty.
I suppose it's at this point I realize I am still holding my axe.
Yep.
Like I've not automatically put it away.
Right.
So yeah, I'll clean my axe. I will sit for a few minutes, make sure everyone's okay. And
I noticed the axe and remember the vision I had. I'm like, it's okay. It's definitely dead.
Yes, it is. But you never know, eh? You never know.
I also remember that I picked up a mangy fur pelt that really stinks from one of the rooms earlier. I'm like, we could use it to clean off the acid.
Oh, brilliant. That's fantastic.
Somehow
right?
it smells better than what already you smell like.
Yeah, it's the best smelling thing I've smelt today.
Harshnag says, I suppose we were all lucky. If that thing had actually mated, it could be, or female, we'd have a whole nest of them to deal with right now. We could have been dealing with perhaps 5 of its young children. And he sort of looks at all of you waiting for a reaction.
I think we were fortunate to have you by our side. We wouldn't have. That would have gone very differently if you weren't here.
He says, well, except that I missed. And he kind of puts himself down, his legs drawn up a little bit, and he says, all of you could have died as a result. It's sometimes difficult to remember. I've used to fighting creatures like this, sometimes even on my own. But to let down a party... And he kind of shakes his head and he says, I am sorry, Greta. Had I struck true as I should have, perhaps this never would have happened. I will redouble my efforts.
I just make like a throwing away gesture with my hand and stand up and just drop the water skin on the floor and says, I just need a moment, and I walk out of the temple.
I'll turn to Harshnag and say, well, if I've learned anything, my friends die hard.
Nice.
Sometimes with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Puntacular.
Perhaps die harder. Okay. So, all right. Other than that, so Greta walks out of the room, but the rest of you can do what you like. Harshnag goes over and is kind of looking at the body of the Remoraz. But of course, there's still the rest of this room if you want, and of course, there's the axe that's still that other axe that's down there.
Rude.
Yeah, well, if I remember right, there wasn't really a lot. This was kind of like to evoke it was like a bit of a Mary Celeste room, wasn't it? There was like half-eaten meals abandoned and things like that.
That is correct. Yeah, basically, in this room, there is basically, a set of sort of piled up are these tables that have the sort of stacks of plates and goblets, which seem to be made of beaten copper, and they're all green and black with age. And the ones that are over here are obviously now, since you spent most of your time fighting on it, all sort of knocked over and kind of messed up. But you can see them stacked elsewhere on these places. Clearly, some kind of a dining area or like feast hall, cafeteria, here. It's also very warm and dry in here, other than the, of course, acid that you're currently covered in, but otherwise warm and dry.
Yeah, apart from that, it's fine.
I'm going to head over to where it originally came from to see if I can find any evidence of how it might have gotten into the room.
Okay.
Because one thing that's Celsius very curious about the fact that the axe was on the far side of the room, but it was between us, and somehow it was frozen in here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a sequence of events in here, and I'm trying to piece it together.
Okay. All right. So if you head over that way, let me get rid of the turn order thing. As you head over that way, you can, if you wish, let's see, you can make an investigation check for me. Now, this is going to be a difficult one, Celsig, because there's so much room to cover. You could take theoretically a long time, but you've basically got 200 feet, right? Or I guess the half of that, because it's half a circle. So you basically got 100 feet in diameter of area basically to cover over in this general vicinity if you're looking for stuff around here. So you can investigate. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be a more difficult one, just letting you know.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll still want to piece together to see if we can... I mean, it's clear we need the axe, but something happened here.
What's up, Coming Guy?
So let's have a go.
That was just the mid boss. Yeah.
16. I'm in a room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, so you're definitely in a room. No, it's better than that. There are these little sort of notches that you can see here, which are more alcoves that clearly you could fit into, but you don't see any sort of holes behind them. You can see that there are what looks like a pile of sort of small bones over here, but they definitely look like bones from small little creatures. In fact, you find some things which look like they might even be the remains of perhaps large spiders that this thing had eaten. If you had to guess, just kind of piecing it all together, this thing was probably subsisting on creatures much smaller than it actually needed. So when you came in, it was super hungry. And if you had to guess, that's basically what was going on. But there's no chance that these alcoves were anywhere near big enough for this thing. Unless there's like incredible disguised areas here, your guess would be that it came through those doors and then somehow the doors were frozen either by it or by something at a later point.
I don't feel like yelling all the way over, but there, because I'll probably just get back. What? I'm going to head over to the axe at the far side of the room then.
Okay. This axe, and I'm going to get back to what everyone else is doing in just a second. This axe is enormous. It is a huge, probably 6 feet in length of the handle, and looks to be hundreds of pounds steel great axe.
So very, very nice, but definitely outside my weight grade.
Yes. You might be able to move it a couple of inches.
I think I will leave it for one of my stronger companions,
Okay.
preferably the biggest one.
Yes.
Unlike Dark Souls, you can't even pick it up and then look comical trying to wield it.
Can't I two-hand it? No.
Yeah, no, okay.
With a steel great axe. Oh, it's fundamental image.
Perfect. Guys, I'm a barbarian now. So, damn it, stop changing. Okay. Right. So I want to jump over to River, and then I want to jump to Greta. So let me start with River. River, what are you doing while this is going on?
Well, that was quite the fight. And we all know River. She worked up quite the appetite. So she was looking at the dead Remoraz, trying to figure out if any part of it was edible. So she's like poking certain pieces of it. No, that's acid. Poking more pieces.
Right.
Getting really upset.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there might be some, usable. It might be a little stringy. You're not 100% sure. Meat probably tastes like chicken, but you wouldn't, chicken if it were covered in corrosive acid.
Yeah.
So you would need to think about how to kind of clean it. But there's definitely a lot of meat. I mean, a lot of meat here.
Yeah. So basically, I'm just muttering to myself, how do you clean acid? There's like 18 steaks here. I'm just looking around. Does anyone know how to clean acid? Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, exactly, Lone Wolf. You just the whole party uses the axe as one, just all of you together. All right, Voltron. Oh, there's more than a frostworm. It was a Remoraz. Okay, Greta, you said that you left. I don't think you said the temple, but I assume you just mean that spot, right? You don't actually walk all the way out of the temple, or do you?
I walk all the way out of the temple.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you did. I beg your pardon. So when you walk all the way out of the temple, and you come out, and it is now, it's grown dark. It is cold. The wind sort of whips against you. What are you doing?
I clean myself up with snow as much as possible.
Okay.
And then I take a deep, long while to pray. And then I walk back inside.
Okay. Do you want to explain the nature of the prayer?
It's more like she feels like she has failed, like completely failed in that moment. And she's trying to figure out where she went wrong. And if maybe Foltus is not shining his light on her right now. And you're just trying to come to grips with the situation that she just nearly, very muchly died.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. As you walk back inside, and sort of passing everything, you can sort of see all of the various. It's obviously more comfortable in here than it was out there, but you can see all the various things around you, and you feel kind of for the first time, the size, the sort of space, the weight of the place almost kind of weighs down upon you. You know, sort of stepping outside, you get to see again the size of the world, and then even for all of its grandeur, still like your very near-death experience may have kind of made this feel almost a little claustrophobic in a way, as you're moving your way back in. You could say this experience was hard to stomach for Greta. I need time to digest that joke. Nice.
I love my team. They are the best.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like all that.
Okay. Then when I come in, I kneel down in prayer and I put a prayer of healing into anyone who currently needs a little bit of health points. I can choose up to.
I could definitely get in on that.
I think Celsic as well. Me and anybody else.
I'm actually totally fine.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm okay. Actually, Harshnag was never hit because because you kept focusing on all the rest of you. So
I took some fire teeth to the face, but I'm still ticking.
Yeah, well, it's up to 6 targets, so take it. So 10.
What are we taking?
10 points for everybody.
Oh, thank you.
You get 10 points. I get 10 points.
You get a car.
Everyone gets 10 points.
Technically, I'm on the other side of the room.
I was just going to say that
made my way back over.
Right.
It's a ranged spell. Don't have a problem.
How ranged?
It takes 10 minutes to trigger, so I'm pretty sure you have.
Okay, that's fine. Because I was going to say he's like 200 feet away. I was like, it's going to be a hell of a.
Everyone at the sound of my voice. Healing, but we constantly underestimate the size of this place.
It's like Oprah. All of LA gets a car. Like, okay. So you come back over and then get that prayer. So just to be clear, so that's 10 for Urash. So
Yep.
17.
10 for everyone.
Celsius 24 now, I think.
27,
no, I'm sorry, 27.
Yeah.
And Greta, 10 for yourself too, right?
Yes, I'm 28.
All right, lovely. Okay.
Then I take a deep, long look at my very much ruined armor. Like putting some mending in there wouldn't help because it's like too many little things that are broken, right?
Yeah, this needs a real smith to fix it.
Yeah, so I clean it up a little bit, but I'm not putting it on again. I'm just like holding it for a moment and just carrying it around.
Okay. Okay. Then Harshnag kind of looks over and says, so, we'll need that, I suppose, and points at the axe. Because I think the reason you guys came in here in the first place was because you were looking for the missing.
We're looking for a ceremonial axe to go with a ceremonial statue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I guess we need to bring it back to its place.
So he walks over, picks it up in one hand, no big deal. Turns around and walks back with it.
Oh, good. That means it's not trapped.
Nope, doesn't seem to be.
Need to check for that.
Yeah.
He walks over here and he says, he looks down at you and at all of you and says, if I had to guess, this was left here by some absent-minded giant. Funny how much rests on just one moment of carelessness. And he shakes his head, and then kind of, you can see, actually, Greta, make a perception check for me, please. No, all of you do. All of you make a perception check for me, please.
He's a giant.
Yeah, you think so. No,
He's definitely a giant.
thank you for the follow, Nexus. Okay. Greta, I would say only you notice, I think this is very appropriate, that he says this thing about that moment of carelessness, and his hand tightens around the handle of his, not the ceremonial, but the actual axe, his weapon axe. Kind of tightens around it as he says that. And then he shakes his head and walks out into this room.
Okay, I register it, but I don't comment.
Okay. So are you folks following him in there, or what do you plan to do?
I am now.
Okay.
I am dejectedly because no one answered my questions about steak.
Oh.
Mistakes were made.
Oh,
Missed stakes, yes.
mistakes. Oh, I like it.
Okay, so I
let's see.
just like drag my armor behind me and walk behind. Harshnag.
Okay. So, Harshnag walks over to the portal, and he's carrying to this door, and he's carrying the axe, and he kind of looks up thoughtfully, and he waits for you, Greta, to come alongside, assuming that you do.
Yes, I do.
And he sort of points at all of those things, and I think I still have. Let me make sure that I have the. Yeah, I do. These runes that I just put on stream. You folks may remember that we had those there before. These are the things that are above the arch.
Yes, the runes of pain bringing.
Yeah, exactly. So he
The
looks
runes
up
have
there.
definitely trapped.
He looks up there thoughtfully, and he looks down at you and he says, "I have never been one for figuring out puzzles. And yet I wonder, this must be tied into this somehow. What do we do with this weapon?" And he kind of looks down at you and looks at Greta and then looks back up at the runes.
I say put it where it belongs. And I point to the statue.
And he nods, and he turns. He turns and apparently takes with him the label that I forgot. Wrote. Take that.
Yeah.
Damn it. You go here.
You're welcome.
Go here. You go here. And you go here. All right, there. So he goes over to the, almost reverently, you might say, and he goes over to this thing, and he puts the. Here we go. He puts this back in the hands of the statue, and it fits perfectly, and nothing happens.
Well, nothing is better than a reign of doom, so...
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, could we at least have left the room first? Like that's like he didn't even hesitate. Like
Yeah, he just wanted. That's true. He did. It's true. Yep.
Dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, I know, right?
So...
what are the runes again?
So they're up on stream, but they are. So you've
they're
got.
very small. Can you make them a bit...
Yes, I'm making them
bigger,
larger
maybe?
right now. Yep.
Please,
Might be a
yeah,
little
that'd be
easier.
great. And we know what one of them are, right?
Correct. You know,
We figured
actually,
some out.
you know what this one. Oh, I can't click it. You know what the ice one is because Harshnag told you himself that it was a rune that was sacred to the ice giants, to the frost
Ice,
giants.
as in
to the
ISE.
frost giants. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was very subtle.
Yeah.
So we figured out, or at least we guessed. Okay, can you move it maybe to the left a little bit so we can see the statues? Oh wait, I can bring them up myself here.
Yeah. you
So
can
I
work on
think we
the
figured out that if ice was ice, and we guessed that the rest is like similar to this, we guessed that stain would be stone. That sky would most likely be cloud. And then we had Uvar, Uvar, and Haug that we need to put in
Yeah.
somewhere. And I think we questioned Harshnag about these runes and couldn't. He doesn't know them, right?
Other than the ice one.
Harshnag, you mentioned that when you were a child, your father did something to do with some sort of ritual in this room. Is there any details you can remember?
He says, "I remember only that he held something and touched this door, but I don't know what he touched on it, and I don't know what he was holding. My memory has faded some from that time, but it was something, and I thought it had something to do with something that one of these statues was holding, perhaps, but I remember little else."
I'm going by the
Why don't we?
you
No, sorry, carry on.
going by how the runes look like. I would say that the Haug rune could be storm, because it has this little spiral that could be like wind, and that would make Uvar the hill and Ild the fire out. Would be my guess.
Yeah.
Harshnag nods thoughtfully, sort of like, if whatever you say. He doesn't seem to, because he doesn't have any idea about that part of it apparently. And he says, even if true, what exactly do we do knowing that?
But then, yeah, so hang on, what's special about this item? Like, why was this item specifically hidden? If we don't need all of the weapons in the statue's hands at the same time, then we clearly need to do something with this item.
He shrugs.
That makes sense, right?
Last time what we did was touch the ice rune, right? And then the portal attacked us.
Yes, you touched it just like by your hand, I believe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what about if we touch it with the axe?
I walk outside of the room.
I'm walking outside.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
They all
I am
turn.
not doing that. Yeah, I am hiding behind this bit. I'm gonna hide here.
Okay. Harshnag is willing to, if you wish him to do that.
But he was immune against.
actually.
He was immune, wasn't he?
Well, that's yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, it's the only rune we know, and it matches the weapon of the frost giant.
And Harshnag says, well, I am a frost giant.
Well,
Yeah.
yep, that makes sense.
So he waits until you're all positioned where you want to be. And Greta and River, do you want to be where your tokens are, or are you going out to like the hallway?
Like here. This is a good place.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Okay. Now, I like
All
how,
the doors locked.
I was gonna say, I like how everyone is around the corner. I understand how Celsa got to where he did. How exactly did you? Oh, because the portcullis is up. Okay, so both of you went down your respective halls. Like, all right, let's go.
Yep.
So
And during just in case this summons like hordes of barbarian marauders behind us, the door was actually closed. You know, one of those crushy doors.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't open it after
The
playing.
front. Yeah.
Well, then I
however,
opened it. Then I opened it before I walked outside.
I was gonna say Greta did.
For
Because I was
thematic
hoping
reasons,
that
let's just go with Greta opened it and closed it.
yeah,
Okay.
Cool.
because you'd be able to do that with the levers. I mean, like that's not, you've already done it, so it's not,
Yep.
shocking.
Yep.
So, although actually, let me think about that. Could she actually reach the lever?
Harshnag will have helped.
I guess. Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Closed it. Okay, so Harshnag comes back over, and he is bearing the axe with him. And then, who's watching this, by the way? Like, are all of you?
Nobody.
If the doors are shut, then
I've-
nobody.
No,
No,
nobody.
I'm-
Nope, we're not
I
gonna.
will watch it from here.
I'll be peeking round, I guess, because like
So-
literally the barest minimum of my face that will let me view this is round the corner.
Yeah, I just don't want to stand in the actual room.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be there. Like, it's really hurt last time.
So when he touches, he sort of bows his head. You can hear what might be sort of him whispering to himself, and then he lifts the axe and he touches it. And when he touches the rune, it glows, and suddenly each rune, like from left to right, ding, 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 like they all light up. And then the axe vanishes from his hand and reappears just vanishes. He's like, oh, and reappears in the frost giant statue's hand. And the archway, the mist that was there, transforms into churning thunderclouds, which are lit by flashing lightning. So there's, and beyond those thunderclouds, you can see a room. The sound of rolling thunder fills the temple, loud enough to be heard through the complex. Do not fail me now, sound effects. Where's my sound effects at? I need me some thunder.
sound
And
effect.
jingle starts playing.
Not thunder, I need thunder.
Thunder.
And lightning, very, very frightening me.
Yep.
Thundar the Barbarian. Da, 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 da. Okay. I really wish Roll20. I love you, but could you please, in the name of God, give us an easier way to find sound effects, please? All right. That's okay. I have found what I think will work. There we go. So, as the Judge Dredd music starts, so thunder is rumbling through the temple, and Harshnag kind of takes one step back, and then turns around and looks at all of you. His eyes are wide in some mixture of fear and exhilaration and anticipation.
Okay, looks like we solved Frost and are up to Storm now. I walk to the door and like leans through, as like opening a little bit, like this.
Yep, you can see the same thing, that you can actually see through. There's a room now beyond it, or so there seems to be.
Okay, can you take the Harshnag, can you take the weapon from the Storm Giant and then touch the hawk symbol? Just hoping we're right here.
And Harshnag says, "Does it matter though? I only remember my father touching one thing alone, and this revealed the room beyond."
But there's like lightning.
He says, "It's harmless, I'm sure." And he puts his hand through as the lightning just like, and nothing happens, and he laughs, and he says, pulls it back and says, "Tingles a little bit, perhaps. I think after what you've been through, this will be minor."
All right, I'm game.
I look at River. Can you help me back into my armor? I think we're moving on.
Yeah.
I'll go through.
You go.
What's the room beyond?
Yeah, just go.
You just
I just
walk
like
through.
it.
Okay. You see
No
the
sense of
following.
Oh,
Hey, it only took us 2 months to uncover a new part of the map.
Yes. There's a
I'm
crash test dummy on the floor.
there's a dead person.
Okay.
we have
When-
our own dead person now.
When
Maybe he's
you
just
move
resting.
through, and
Whoa.
and you and Harshnag both go through,
I guess I'll start
you have
moving
this
up.
very strange experience. You feel, again, I would use the example of, it's like one of those in the science museums, you know, where you have the little static, the ball with the static electricity that you
Yeah.
feel it kind of, your skin almost tingles and kind of your hair bristles on your arms, but otherwise you were unharmed. And as you pass through, you are immediately back on the other side, and as you look back through, you can see the room on the other side of it, you know, but sort of darkly and muffled. You can't hear anything from back there, but you can actually
I give him a
see
big
the
thumbs up.
clouds in the archway. This room, and then everyone else can arrive if they wish, looks like this. And as he kind of goes in, he as Harshnag goes in, he stops. Beyond the thundering archway lies a hexagonal chamber whose walls rise 50 feet before tapering to a 90-foot-high apex. Standing in each corner of the room is a life-size statue of a giant holding up a heavy iron lantern with one raised arm. Each type of giant is represented: hill, stone, frost, fire, cloud, and storm. A cold, magical light radiates from each lantern, illuminating a giant corpse lying on the floor beneath a shroud of frost in the middle of the room. The corpse looks like it has been here for some time, preserved by the cold. Next to the body rests a giant, frost-covered morning star.
What was the race of the body?
The race of the body, you'd have to get closer to see it. It looks like you can see sort of what might be bluish skin, so it might be like maybe a frost giant or a cloud giant, or it's hard to say. It's covered in frost, so it's not easy to see. Definitely not a hill giant, because those are a little smaller.
Okay. When I'm done with putting my armor back on, I'll walk through the portal, take a deep breath, and go through.
Okay. Or is everyone else joining as well?
Come on, synchronized.
Ah, so-
1, 2.
It's the scene out of Stargate.
Right.
Okay. So when you all enter, you see what it is that I have previously described.
I walk up to the body.
Okay. When you walk up to the body, I'm going to show you this because I think this is a awesome illustration.
This is an awesome monster.
It's an awesome monster. It's
You
a
find the
double
champion.
wide. It's the father of the
Yeah.
Remoraz. No. As you sort of move up to this creature, move up to this corpse, and you walk up to it. You see a sort of shadowy, kind of spectral figure begin to rise. And soon, standing over the body, you see a giant-sized, what looks like a ghost. Let me show you an image of that.
I'm very familiar with ghosts.
Did you see that 3 of the statues are right-handed and 3 are left-handed?
Very equal. Okay, you can now see it. I just put it on screen.
Celsic laughs in ambidextrous.
Oh wow,
That is a
That
cool
really
picture.
Right?
That is
that
Yeah.
is very cool art.
Yeah,
That's
that is
so-
I like that.
They do
That's
really
what we're doing
cool
right
stuff.
now, right?
Yep. So they kind of like rises
Wow.
up above, and as you sort of come close to it, he says, "Welcome. I wonder why you have come. It has been long since any have entered the room of the Oracle. I had thought perhaps this chamber was forgotten." And he sort of looks at all of you, and Harshnag is kind of like back for the first time. Now, you've never seen Harshnag frightened, but Harshnag is definitely hanging back a bit on this. So he's speaking, essentially, it looks like Greta to you.
Oh, okay. We are here because we are looking for answers of what happened to the giant races.
Ah, what did happen to us, I wonder? Many things. Despair, deceit, greed, fear. And yet I am not the oracle that you seek. I know, of course, how it works and how you may contact it. I was brought here under different circumstances. I am not the oracle. Indeed, I wish I were. It might have made all this easier.
Who are you?
My name is Aigeron. I am a cloud giant. I came here with my father, a great cloud giant. His name was Blagothkus. I came here seeking wisdom. The oracle told us a great upheaval would upset the balance of power in the world, that all giants would have the opportunity to win the respect of our gods and bring glory to their race. I was pleased. My father would finally get his chance to show his quality. And the giant then turns away, and you can see kind of again, it sort of is spoken thus far, not really emotionally, Greta, but just kind of, with a sort of, here, just the facts type of thing. But when he gets to this point, you can see his face kind of contorts, and he turns away. And he says, "But the oracle was not finished. He told my father that he could never impress the gods enough to earn their favor. And then the oracle urged me to step out from beneath my father's dark shadow." And as he says dark shadow, you can see the shadows of the lanterns kind of wildly tracing over his image in the light as it wavers slightly as he floats there. My father was overcome with despair and envy. Then he turned to me and said that he could not let me overcome him. He brought his axe down upon me. I defended myself. We fought. But Blagothkus was more powerful than I. The father slew the son. Right here, in the oracle of the All-Father, my father took his chance to prove to the gods his quality. Then, poised over my body, I saw both of us there, saw him wipe a hand across his eyes, rise and depart. I do not know why I was left here, yet I have remained for countless decades, waiting for what comes next.
So,
He's still
For
turned away from you, by the way, Greta.
so for countless decades, no other giant came here and, like buried you?
He nods. Yes. Perhaps my father told no one of what had happened. Perhaps none could find this place. The Eye of the All-Father was most difficult to discover, as you no doubt noticed yourself.
Oh, we more or less got a taxi.
And he sort of blinks and says, "Fortunate then. But no one came for me. Perhaps they did not care."
I chime in. The key to enter this room had been sealed inside a room in the temple, guarded by a fearsome beast. It seems it was no accident that nobody has visited you all this time.
He sighs and he says, "Perhaps. But however fierce the beast, I was the son of a king. I would have wished that my people had cared more than their fear or their greed. That," and he turns now and he looks directly at Harshnag, "that is our legacy. Our greed, our rage, and our fear. Look how you cower there against the door while the little people speak on your behalf. How great is the failure of the giants when we cannot even speak or stand for one of our own." And Harshnag kind of stands up and takes several steps forward and says, "I am sorry, Aigeron. What your father has done is wrong. I am not used to speaking to those who have passed on. My talking is typically done with my weapons." And Aigeron nods and said, "As it has always been so." He turns back to you, Greta, and the rest of you and says, "I will help you if I may, but I would ask that you help me as well."
What do you wish for?
And he looks at you and says, "Closure. Life. This body," and he indicates the body in the floor, "to stand up and walk out of this place. But since I can have none of those, I wish only one thing." And he leans down, Greta, and kind of like moves his ghostly face in so that he's only a few feet away. And it's just kind of his face is sort of, kind of wavering a little bit. And he says, "Vengeance. My father cannot be allowed to rule and cannot be allowed to live. Kill him, and my spirit may be at peace."
Is that the reason why you're still here, or is this something that happens to everyone who dies in here?
He shrugs and says, "I do not know. It is possible that the magic of this place is what makes it possible for us to be in contact with the world beyond." And he his shoulders sag a little bit and he says, "I do not make demands as my father would have. You are free to ignore me, and I will help you anyway. But if you have the opportunity, if you see him, please visit vengeance upon him. A son should not be slain by the one who brought him into the world, and should not be left to rot here while the world outside falls away."
Does the spirit count as a creature?
Sure.
I will cast a Zone of Truth.
Okay.
He can try to resist if he wants to. I will tell him that I'm casting the Zone of Truth. I want to know if your story rings true.
He says, as all sad, tragic stories do, mine also is nothing but truth. I have told you what happened here. My father was always cruel and vicious. I mistook his strength and purpose for power, discipline, leadership. Now I would see those things burned away.
So your father killed you without cause or provocation?
Oh, he had cause. The cause was my threat to his rule. If he could not impress the gods, then he must destroy the one that could. And so he killed me, so I would not supplant him.
Why kill you here?
He says this is where he was told. It was right in this circle, where my father was told that he would never measure up to the rest of the giants. It was here where he struck the final blow. My weapon there on the ground, where I fell as my life slipped from me.
Do you also wish us to bury your body?
He sort of gives you a kind of a weak smile and says, it is buried, along with my spirit. And yet I have not let all of my will leave me. I long ago let beyond the idea that I could expect help from anyone. Yet some spark of my father's determination and will remain. I could not die while I knew that he lived. At least, that is what I believe. So, no. My body needs no burying. But my hatred, that needs revealing.
I turn to the rest of the party. He speaks the truth.
This is a dreadful crime, and it needs to see the light of day.
Yeah.
Harshnag sort of bows low to him and says to all of you, may I speak to you over here? There's like one corner of the room. The advantage of being in a room made for giants is that it's fairly big enough that you could probably so he goes over to here if you will follow him.
Yeah.
Let's see. He doesn't think it's a good idea that we want to try to kill the king of the storm giants.
So if all of you go, including
15 minutes walk later.
Like this is where the credit scene rolls. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So he it's actually like the old Incredible Hulk. The da 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 is like Bruce Banner is walking down the road. So you all get over and he lowers his voice, which is no easy thing to do. I think that's the second time someone has followed while I had. There we go. Thank you, Lauren DeGirit. Welcome to GOG and the DRM Free community. Sorry for the person I missed before the follow. I was too busy talking about this dude and his father. So when you come over to him, Harshnag lowers his voice and he says, I agree with Selsig that this is a terrible crime and that it should see the light of day. But the cloud giants were always second only to the storm giants, Hecaton himself. And if it is true that Blagothkus here was responsible, then the revelation of this crime could create even greater disorder. This is a function of the breaking of the ordning. It is this that have led giants to take leave of their senses. It is this that led them to come here. Until we fix this problem, until Hecaton is restored to his throne and order put right, we may do what we wish to put a finger in the dam, but the dike will break. And if we widened it to show more of this light of day, Selsig, the water will pour through and drown us all.
Nobody says we have to do this before we do all the other stuff that we're tasked to do.
It's true.
so we can still see if we can reinstall Hackathon and
Yeah.
deliver Blikhovkos to his justice.
Justice, yeah.
He nods and he says,
If he's not responsible for Hekaton's disappearance.
Yeah, if that, yeah.
and he nods and he says, "It is a thought. I knew something of this Blagothkus. He had some role to play in that business with the dragons some years ago. He had a great flying castle, much larger than the one from your friend." I was about to say Sephiroth. From your friend Sephiroth. From your friend Zephyros. Much larger than that one. Hey. Sorry, what? Oh, okay. I'll do that. Sorry. I was apparently being asked to send in my dinner order, and I was too busy.
Gotta get that in, man. Gotta get that in.
Trying to deal with a dragon. Okay. Sorry about that. So I will answer that in just a minute. So he says, I knew something of him. This business with the dragons, he was involved in some way. Blagothkus was indeed cruel, but he became more so after his wife perished. She was very dear to him, I know, and once she disappeared, he vanished from most of giant life completely. If it is true that this is what he was doing, seeking out the eye of the Allfather so he could learn who would take over in Hekaton's stead, that is troubling. I never thought that Blagothkus was, frankly, smart enough to be able to kidnap and arrange the breaking of the Ordning. Hekaton could have crushed him. And yet, Blagothkus was certainly cruel, as we have seen. Perhaps his cruelty led to a complete breakdown in order.
So
Possibly allies.
yeah,
This isn't
Yeah.
something a single person does alone.
no.
Kings don't disappear without question.
He nods. I agree. We still may ask the Oracle our questions and perhaps gain more knowledge there. But in the meantime, the fact that this body lies in the center of this circle, he sort of shakes his head. I used to believe that the giants, for all of their tendency to fight, to war, that there was a dignity and a strength about my people. I fear we are no more than beasts, animals. Take away the whips that hold us in place, and we will fall upon creatures and savage them, as surely as the Remoras did to us in that other room. Kind of lowers his head.
We'll see the dignity and honor of the giants restored.
Yeah.
With individuals like yourself and Sephiroth, the hope's not dead.
He looks at you, Selsig, and kind of tilts his head, and then he bends down, which is, quite a feat, and puts his hand on your shoulder, and he says, "You, my friend, all of you, have proven the value of the little people. Never again will I underestimate their strength." And he looks at all of you and says, "Perhaps, with a dwarf and a halfling, with an orc and a dragonborn, perhaps we can teach humanity what it means to have honor and dignity from every other race in Faerun." And he smiles at you.
It is a good thought.
Then we shall ask Aegerim how we speak to the Oracle, because I'm not sure, is there like a limit on how many questions we get or anything?
Harshnag shrugs. He doesn't remember that. But
Well,
you can
I'm-
certainly ask the ghost. I
Yeah.
should mention, by the way, that the body does have, like, armor and, things like that. Like, I wanted to mention that it's not just a naked body on the ground.
Yeah,
but
but
it's
it's
covered
still-
in frost and stuff.
Yeah, but it's still,
It's his body. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the ghost is like right there, man. He's like right there.
Hey, you gonna use that? You gonna use that? Like,
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah.
You gonna eat
You're
that
not gonna
fry?
use-
Delsig hasn't even poked the body.
I was
I know.
gonna say, yeah, Selski's become very honourable over the last 15 minutes. I'm not sure what's happened.
Well, the ghost's right
His
there.
new race, Paladin.
I'm really watching me.
He's now
I'm
Paladin.
not sure if I look at the others and I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with like summoning an oracle over a dead body. This reeks a bit of necromancy.
Well, how about we find out how we summon the oracle before we do it?
Okay, let's go back to
It could be one of the
Asia room.
statues. We don't know. Yeah.
Okay, let's walk back to Asia room and quiz him on how the oracle works.
Okay, so he waits for you, sort of wavering slightly. He has a real, Harshnag is kind of defined by obviously his strength, and he's got he's got a stern expression, but he can certainly laugh. You wonder if Aigeron ever laughed, even in life. He has just this very sort of calm, constantly sort of bittersweet demeanor about him, and he just kind of waits serenely.
So explain to us how the oracle works. How do we summon the oracle? How do we ask questions of the oracle without actually doing it?
He says, "Ah, yes. First, you must clear this circle." And he sort of drifts back, and he says, "You will probably need to move my body first."
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so Harshnag comes over, and Harshnag kind of looks uncertainly at the ghost, and Aigeron kind of nods and says, "My time in the living has passed, my friend. You may move my body with safety. I would see this done, and not allow my corpse to gainsay it." And so Harshnag kind of moves the body away carefully. When he does so, there's kind of a ripping sound because of the ice is like sort of tying him. So it doesn't rip his skin, but it's just like like you're taking something, from sort of
Very
tape
nice,
everything
very
off there. So he moves his body over, and then Aigeron, as Harshnag is moving him, says to the rest of you, "Now, scrape free the frost and snow from the floor there." And you can see that there is a lot of actual frost and snow.
Okay, let's get to cleaning.
Okay. Yeah.
So as you begin to sort of scratch it away, almost like if you've ever done one of those little like scratch off tickets, with a little coin, and you do it and like you gradually reveal something underneath. That's very much what this feels like to you. And as you are sort of in the midst of going through this, let me make sure that I find the right one here. There we go. All right. So, okay, I'm going to show what you see on stream in just a second here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hear furious typing.
Furious typing.
Okay.
Furious note taking.
Furious note taking. All right, here we
This
go.
was the paranoia RPG I'd be getting paranoid about now.
All right.
Oh, I'd love to play the Paranoia RPG with you people.
Paranoia. That's that's a funny game. All right. So I am now going to transition over. As you are scraping this thing in the middle of this circle, and it's not quite as big as it looks like on stream, but I'm just increasing the size so you can tell. As you're scraping it off, you can actually see that there is a mithril inlaid circle that is 20 feet in diameter, and it is inscribed with that rune that you see there, and six words that are inscribed in Dwarvish script, Greta. Dethek, the Dwarvish script. So you can read them. So
I will then read the 6 words.
the 6 words read, "Ask your question and know truth." No, as in K-N-O-W, not no truth. And as you're looking down at that, sort of conjuring with that idea, Harshnag sort of looks and breathes. This rune is what we call the Kong rune. It is associated with Anam, the All-Father. And that is in the middle. And so once this rune is clear, then he says, it's about 20-foot wide circle, and Eichthon says, one of you must stand in that circle. Then the oracle will make themselves known to you, and you may ask the questions you seek.
How come there is dwarven script in here? Here it says, ask your question and know truth.
He smiles. It is so difficult to imagine that there was a time when the races worked together. Is it not, friend dwarf? My father believed that the little people were a blight, a pestilence, vermin to be exterminated. And yet, how many times was he proven wrong? He sort of shakes his head. I fear that the races at each other's throats will make it impossible for us to come together again. And yet that is what we must do eventually.
Let's clean. Does mithril meld? It doesn't, right?
No. Very little affects mithril.
How much time will it take to like really scrape this now
You've
off?
already got it mostly scraped off already. It was just a thin layer of frost, but...
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm surprised it took you that long to think of using a fireball on it.
Yeah.
So could I ask the ghost a question?
Okay.
What do you know of the oracle?
He sort of says, what do you mean?
Well, have you ever seen the oracle? Do you know the ritual to summon the oracle or anything like that?
And he says, yes, I saw the oracle when he spoke to my father. And as far as the ritual, there is none required. Stand in this circle, and you will be given the chance to ask a question. Each one of these creatures, or each one of these statues, he says, pointing to all of them, represents one question available. As you ask a question, a light goes out. When all the lights of knowledge and truth are out, the oracle will make no more responses until it has had a chance to rest and recharge. Perhaps a day or more.
So 6 questions, and then we ask no more questions for about a day or so.
He nods.
Okay. And why does one of us? Sorry, go on.
How direct is the oracle in its answers? Like, does it only say yes or no, or is it how precise do we have to be in our questions?
The oracle will answer with truth and with some direction. But there are things concealed even to the eye of the All-Father. And there are things that may be interpreted differently. For instance, I doubt that the oracle intended for my father to kill me based on the answers that it gave. And yet that is what happened.
Wait, so did it possess you and you gave your father the answers? The oracle gave your father the answers through you?
What?
No. It
Right.
spoke. Here we heard
So does the oracle
voice.
does the oracle come to us, or does one of us go to the oracle?
It comes here and speaks
Right.
in this room.
But we all have to be stood on that symbol.
Not all, simply the one who asks the question.
Okay.
So we need to figure out what our best 6 questions would be.
Yeah. Like we need to seriously think about that.
Yeah, we need to seriously think about that.
Yeah.
Can we ask it how to clean acid so we can eat the food?
If we
Okay,
have a-
River
if we have a-
stays outside.
if we-
The ghost kind of floats and doesn't
if we
answer.
get stuck, then Let's have that as a
If we get
reserve
stuck on-
question.
Seriously,
Yeah.
if we have a question left, we can ask about how to prepare Remorath.
Okay.
Yeah. I so hope we have a question left.
Boil
think
it,
all-
mash it, stick it in a stew.
Yep. Remorax.
The best preparation with a little bit of basil and.
Wait, do you have anything to tell us over there?
No, so Harshnag kind of comes up and says, "Well, you must think of questions then."
Yes. Yeah, we definitely will need to think of questions.
I like Marinda. What
Yeah,
would be
me
the
too.
best first question? What's the best 5 questions to ask you, Oracle?
Yeah, that's like the famous first wish, ask for more
Can I-
wishes. Like, they never-
Yeah, can I have more questions, please?
I question your belief in limited questions. Can I?
Can you tell me everything you know?
Oh,
So, as you all prepare to leave the room to talk about this,
Yeah.
you begin to, as you begin to walk out, Ichthion holds up a hand. Sorry, Igeron, not Ichthion. Igeron holds up a hand and says, "Be careful as you consider your questions, and do not let the answers sway you to ill behavior.
what?
As I said, the Oracle speaks truth, but the truth can be hard to hear, as it was for my father. If you would learn what the future holds, be ready for the effect it has on your present. Would that I had been ready in this way. I might perhaps be living still, instead of a lost and lonely ghost, giving advice here on the edge of all knowledge and time."
If I may ask a further question with respect, what was the answer that the Oracle gave to your father that caused your death?
He says, he told him that he must impress the gods. He also told him that he never would. It also told him that he never would. And it said that I should step out from behind my father's dark shadow. It was this, the thought that he would be supplanted by me, that I think drove my father beyond reason. At least, I hope it was that.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
And he says, I did. One, a younger sister. I often wonder what happened to her. But if my father was concerned of being supplanted, he may quite certainly have killed her as well.
What was her name?
Varencia. And he kind of, sort of, almost like, kind of breathes in, or almost looks like he's breathing in as a ghost, which obviously makes no sense, and then says, I have not thought of that name for a long time. It is a sad memory.
I appreciate you telling us that. That can't have been pain-free.
He nods and he says, my pain will be as nothing as to my rest and relief when my father is dead. For now, think well on your questions. Consider as well what you will do with the answers. And as you all exit the sort of thundering archway, you look back to sort of catch a sight of the drifting ghost above its body. And it might be that you see, Selsig, just as you're sort of heading out the door, this image of Igeron's ghost perhaps putting his head in his hands. And that, I think, is where we will bring the session to a close for this evening.
So
Good
now we
work.
have a month to think of questions.
Yeah. Not a month.
Not a
No,
month.
that's true, actually.
You have
Not a
got
month.
actually a lot fewer than that. You got a few
Yeah.
days
Think
to
fast.
think about this. Great stuff today, folks. Very, very tough fight, as you knew it was going to be. I hope that lived up to expectations. It was nasty, and yeah, Harshnag definitely helped. But like I said, you all put in a lot of work, and the idea of crushing it was an interesting one that I think had you been able to follow through on it and not immediately been, had someone swallowed, it probably would have could have put a damper on that idea. But it was really interesting to see you folks sort of work through that fight, and then I can't wait to see how the questions with the Oracle go. It's gonna be really, really interesting. So we will see how that all works. I will start as per usual at the bottom of the column, but not the bottom of our hearts, and of course that is Tasty Chai. Chai, what did you think about today, and where will the fine folks, besides here on that, coming soon, where else will they see you next?
Well, I'm impressed that we didn't die, actually. I would say that.
Well, like not all of us.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't
Speak for
totally
yourself.
die.
Yeah,
You were only mostly dead, so it's okay.
Big difference, yes.
But yeah, I thought it was a really cool fight. I was actually really enjoying everything. And then this whole unveiling of plot thing was super heavy and has me very contemplative. So I'm enjoying it. As for the next time that I will be streaming, it'll actually be tomorrow on my personal channel. I'm going to be continuing Persona 5. That's exciting.
Very awesome. Thanks, Chai. Always a pleasure. And moving right on up the line, Mike, I really am sorry that we won't have you here for Friday's shenanigans, but
This is true.
But obviously, life is much more important in that regard, and I was very glad to have you here for this fight. That would have been sad if you had missed that.
Yeah, I do.
Yes,
Really
that would have been really, really
That would
sad.
have been really bad.
Very sad.
So, how'd you feel about today, and where will the fine folks see you next?
This is such a cool session. Like, it really was. It's always fun playing. It's always fun when we have a real level of cohesion there. When that cohesion is disparate, like we're all trying to do different things, but we're all trying to come together, if that makes sense. And there's a real sense of unity there, and I really, really appreciate it. I'm not going to be here next session, unfortunately, but I will think of questions, and I will post them in our Discord chat, and I'll make sure that people we kind of properly think about this before next time, which I'm sure we're all thinking of. But yeah, I'm really interested in seeing where this is going to go. And it's always a pleasure playing, and I'm looking forward to the next one I can attend.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Always a pleasure. And this thing you're going on is a happy thing, so I won't spoil what it is, but just happy this thing.
Yes, yes, it's a good thing.
Yeah, so, but thanks, Mike. Always a pleasure, and thank you for making time for this. Moving right along up the line, of course, we have the amazing Darksaber 2K, who's able to make it back despite a very long work day, was here for it. I hope we managed to give you a little bit of a wind down of sorts, or at least a, not work-related sort of thing, Saber. How'd you feel about today, and where will the fine folks see you next besides with us?
This has been a great end to the day, honestly. I mean, I always enjoy the sessions, but I feel this has been an especially enjoyable one for me today. I have really had an absolute blast, like I say, with the amazing fight, with all of the teamwork, and then this plot reveal just to round off the session. It's a very, very good one, particularly.
Cool.
So outside of my streaming, tomorrow we've got multiplayer with Pyron Jade and Memories and 8-Bit. We're going to be playing Barony with the new DLC that came out recently.
Those are always fun to watch, by the way. I always like watching lurking in those.
I'm putting together a Stellaris multiplayer group stream forms next Sunday here on the channel, and I think we've obviously got the thing on Friday, and that just leaves Thursday where I'll be streaming on my own channel, twitch.tv/DarkSaber2K.
Good stuff. Thank you, Saber. And I look forward to being able to actually join you folks for one of these multiplayer things. I've just always been so busy, but I'd love to be able to do it sometime. So I hope I will do it. I again will put out the call for Nomad to get their butt in gear and get Talisman over on GOG. I just would so adore playing that with people. It'd be a lot of fun. So so do it. Come on. GOG and also Nomad. Let's get the job done. And last but certainly not least, Pyron, this was but thank you, Saber, good stuff. Pyron, this was a eventful kind of session for you, for Greta. There's a lot going on there. How did you feel about the near-death experience. I also want to give you credit, by the way, for what I thought was a very nice moment, because I like the idea that you're not like, well, all right, I was almost dead and swallowed, so that's good. And, you know, like, you didn't just go, okay, everything's great. Like, you were like, oh, God, like, what just happened to me? So how did you feel about today, and where will the fine folks see you next?
I absolutely loved the session. I think it was a really nice balance between fight and character play. And yeah, for Greta, it's getting... The margin to death is getting smaller and smaller each time, and she feels bad, and you know she doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
And especially nobody would have felt like a senseless death, and that maybe because she just got eaten. Which, I mean, if you get eaten by a target, you have to feel that's like kind of natural, but it still sucks.
Right.
And but yeah, you're gonna see me again tomorrow here on GOG for Barony, then Friday on Arvin's channel for some more D&D, and then Sunday again on here for Stellaris multiplayer, because we're having a lot of multiplayer actions this week. Please check out our schedule. And because everybody loves multiplayer, doesn't they? Yeah, this is also kind of multiplayer.
I was gonna say, I was gonna like multiplayer.
We're
I don't
doing
think that's gonna
multiplayer
take
here.
off.
It's awesome.
All right. I mean, like, you know, I don't. It's all about single player, individual. No, yeah. I'm a big fan of multiplayer, obviously. But thank you, Pyron. This was great. Yeah, again, I want to again pay tribute to this party, which all of my campaigns offer something different, and in this particular case, the amount of fun that this party offers, and as Mike said, the chemistry really makes a difference. And I am grateful to them that they will be able to, Pyron and Saber and Chai will be able to give up a portion of their Friday. They will be the lead-off group on Friday. And before I let them go, I do want to mention that to everybody, that this again is to benefit ArvCon on my channel. This is going to be to benefit the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation. We raised over $3,100 last year. The goal is to raise $3,500 this year. We will have lots of giveaways, and I don't think I had a chance to show this before, but I will do so now. The second top donator, so the first top donator gets a big, amazing thing that I will show again at some point, but not now because it's too much to get out. But it's amazing picture of the starry sky done by a professional photographer on this metal. It's amazing. But the second one gets this, and this is a custom dragon pen with a dragon on the end of it. It's got a claw. My autofocus is not going to work right, but it's got a claw like that. It's holding a gem, and you can unscrew it, and the inside is also scaled, basically, and then you can screw it on this side. It's pretty slick. And this was made by one of my viewers who sent it along, and it's going to be going to the second top donator. So I really appreciate that, and I also appreciate, which is why I'm taking the time on it, GOG.com, because GOG.com is giving us a bunch of codes to sponsor this event, as they did for me last year. So I'm very grateful to GOG.com. I'm grateful to as always to Pyron Jade for helping make those connections. That really makes a difference. So thank you, Pyron, and thank you again to the players for taking time to play twice in a week, which I know is not what they would normally do. And I hope all of you will be able to come over and support this cause. It really is important, and we talked about multiplayer. If you think of all of what we're doing as a cooperative effort, there is a lot of individuals being individuals in the world. We need a lot more of communities like this one being communities. And I believe that when we come together that way, we do extraordinary things, as this group did in this session. So it was my great pleasure to have Pyron, Darksaber 2K, Screaming Joypad, known as Mike, and Tasty Chai with me today. Thank you all so much. Chat, can we get some love for the players? Mike, have a good weekend, and for the other three, I will see you lovely people on Friday. Bye for now.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
That is going to do it for them, and that's going to do it for Pen and Pixels for today. I hope you folks enjoyed it as much as I did. Really, what a great crew. Again, I'm just very, very fortunate that all of my players are so... I feel like I'm always just like being cheesy about it. Like, they're all so great. I love you all, man. But they really are good people, and I really enjoy being able to DM for groups like this, and group with this much chemistry. And yeah, Storm King's Thunder is taking off, man. There's some big stuff on the horizon. Literally big stuff, as you probably could tell. But thanks everybody. Oh, thank you, Tululian. I hope you enjoyed it. Yes, go vote this week. Thank you, Likey, for the reminder. That's true. If there is a primary in your area in the US, or if you are voting overseas, I know the Australians just voted. made the wrong call, but no, it's fine. I know you Australians just voted, but if you get a chance, please vote. That's part of this sort of community support as well. As for me, I'm going to be back on my channel this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, where I'm going to be streaming the Banner Saga 2 with my voice team, the R Vocalists. And that is going to be this Thursday. And I believe, let me double check what the next is. Yes, 47 minutes from now, so at 7 p.m., Dango Kitty is going to be back here with the Irony Curtain. And I saw something about this. I was actually interested in checking that out. I don't know if I'll be able to because I'm going to be busy doing a lot of stuff today, but hopefully I can drop in and lurk a little bit and watch as Dango does her thing. But you should definitely come back for that in about 45 minutes. And then, as I say, if you get the chance later on this evening, stop by my channel and we'll be doing some Banner Saga 2 with my voice acting team. Then Thursday, I'll have Emberwind on my channel, which is more tabletop role-playing. And Friday, again, the beginning of ARVCon. And in case you're interested, this very group will be starting out ARVCon at 4 p.m. We've got a busy weekend planned for you. 4 to 7:30 is that group. 8 to 12 a.m. is my D&D 5e compatible space opera game Esper Genesis session. Then Saturday, we have got Adventures of Middle-earth going on. We've got a concert with two former actually one current and one former GOG streamer in Kilgore Trout and Chrono Wolf, plus Jordan Indiana Gonzalez, who is a big Twitch musician who's going to be playing for us. And then a special event, which is just about, not totally clarified, but almost, which is going to be more tabletop awesomeness Saturday night. And then Sunday, of course, my campaign that's been running the longest and for a while ran with Mike Screaming Joypad as one of the characters in that one, D&D with Infinity and Beyond, for a 9-hour marathon session of Curse of Strahd. So we got a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be awesome. And no, I said I said wherever you are, I'm all about it. The EU election. That's right. Go vote and do the right thing. And do not vote Brexit. But anyway, that's going to be it for me. Thank you all so much for being here. Hopefully I'll see you folks here on my channel tonight or later on this week. Please stop by for ARVCon on my channel. Again, you can go over and check out all the details. It'll be on my channel starting at 4 p.m. Eastern on Friday. And remember, 45 minutes from now, 46 minutes, I guess, you will see Dango Kitty with Irony Curtain. Otherwise, I'll be back here next week, next Tuesday, with Pen and Pixels and the conclusion, or at least I think the conclusion, close to the conclusion of Spycraft, before we head back to another previous game. That's going to do it for me. Thanks, everyone. Much love. Please follow all the things. Thank you for those of you who followed and subbed today to the channel. Please continue to do that, and please check out all our individual Patreons and stuff like that as well. I have a Kickstarter for my graphic novel Jelinek coming out in a few weeks that is going to be going live with that Kickstarter, but I'll talk more about that after ARVCon is completed. But please check us out on our individual channels as well, and definitely stop by for Barony, because that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing all of those wonderful people playing together. That's it for me. Much love. Thanks, everybody. And I will see all of you wonderful people on Thursday, as I find the right button. Thursday on my channel, Friday, and of course, then next week back here. Until then, everyone be good to each other. Have a good day.